Tommy, welcome to the Docs Report.
What's going on? What an entrance.
Just hanging out. Well, what an entrance? Well, an introduction, you mean?
Well, the music, it was great.
Oh, yeah. Are you sure that's a nuclear thing? I thought that was the actual photo of one of the reactor, the main one there. Not the reactor, but the refining.
Do you mean of the fire? I was talking about your Fordo picture.
Yeah, that is Fordo, right?
Yeah, so Fordo is a nuclear facility. It's not oil.
Right, but it was when I had no idea they would use like what they use 14 of those gigantic top of the line bunker busters.
Yeah, so bunker busters are something that apparently only we have. Not only is I guess the ordinance itself massive, but the delivery system is extremely intricate. And we used a number of them. Some people said 12, 16, but we used a number of them on Fordo, which is essentially a mountain. It's, very tough to get to. And Iran is
I
not
know.
stupid.
Yeah, but let me show you a photo here. Let me get it here.
Yeah, go for it.
This thing, where is it? Right here. Now, the upper right is a subsidence that wasn't there before the bunker buster went in. Now, the one on the left is the entry point of the bunker buster. So it must have got in, and it must have found some cavity. If it would have found any part of that cavity underneath there, then that shock wave and all the gases would have gone ripped right through everything. And it must have come out that hole, some of it.
So I'm not so much debating that the strike on Fordo was a success. I'm not disputing that. I can't dispute it. It's impossible. Not even we can say that definitively.
You're saying it was a bad move?
So, actually, let me go upstairs. I'll be right back because where I'm at now, the internet's not so great.
Okay, I'll go through the comments. Let's see, pasta. Israel's dictating to us what to do and fooled Donald into a trap. Whereas the Epstein files, how as Tulsi Gabbard changed her view. My God, no, she didn't. She didn't change her view. It was the media. You never ever trust the media. Because I heard that reporter ask the question to President Trump, and President Trump said, "Who said that?" And I went over that yesterday. I played her testimony, and they took it out of context. Let me on. No, I don't do panels, Pasta. No panels. I'm not doing panels. When Tommy checks out, he's switching over to a different line. Besides, Pasta, you're spiritually centered. I mean, this world it's not going to change. We can only do the best we can. Well, they didn't use 14 on right, but I mean total. They went through quite a few. Those things are pretty pricey. Campers, I thought it was 3 B2s, each with a maximum number of bunker busters, 2 on Fordo, the facility. Other 2 sites annihilated with Tama. I'm not sure. I listened to parts of it. I think. Well, I don't know where they keep the refined uranium, the enriched uranium, but you would think they'd have Geiger counters out there because did it go up in the atmosphere? I don't know.
All right, I'm back.
All right, Tommy.
Okay, so that's an interesting question you just said. So, number one, we might not see a lot of nuclear detection occurring, and so far there hasn't been any. And that's because it's so far underground, you wouldn't have the fallout disperse in the same way you would Chernobyl or any other Fukushima, anything like that. So that's number one. Number two, my argument is that what we did is ultimately dangerous because it's going to lead to more nuclear
Okay, so
proliferation,
what do we do?
not less.
Okay, so you don't want to do the surgical strike. Okay, so we'll just wait till they use it. And then
No.
what?
So I think number one, do you know much about Iran itself?
It used to be a
That's a
great
genuine question.
civilization, and the Shah, they fell, and then the first Ayatollah got in, and then the second one. But this current guy, I heard it described as a death cult. They believe in Armageddon, and they're gonna use it.
So what have they done to anyone other than their own people? Because there's plenty of countries, Africa,
They've
South
publicly, what
America.
have they done? Here's what they've
What
done.
have they done
This is
to,
what they've done. They've
yeah.
announced to the world they're going to use it on Israel.
When have they ever said they're going to nuke Israel?
Oh, come on. They said Israel doesn't have a right to exist, and they believe in.
There's a
Come on,
difference between,
they would use it immediately.
no, that's incorrect. So number one,
You can't.
Netanyahu.
You can't.
Netanyahu.
Israel wanted it gone. They're the ones that threatened, and then the United States.
Netanyahu has been coming to Congress since the 90s saying that Iran is going to get a nuke and they're going to use
Okay.
it and that they're right around the corner. 30 years have gone by right around the corner. That's number one. Number two, there's a difference between a Middle Eastern country saying Israel is a bad country, they shouldn't exist, what they
This
did
is
was wrong.
Iran. This is a terrorist nation. They're
What
behind
terrorism have they sponsored? Give me any
Hamas,
example.
the Houthis. They're giving money to everybody to do
Okay,
that.
so what is, do you see any
All right,
distinction
but
between,
we're in the weeds now. Let's go back to the.
but this is important though. It
Well,
genuinely is.
do you want them to have the bomb and then we do
No,
something?
no, I don't want anyone to have the bomb, but I'm a realist and I realize that we don't live in a fanciful world where we can just wave a wand and only our allies have nukes. No one should have nukes. It's a terrible thing, but they're out there and people have them.
That's like saying nobody should have a gun. It's too late now.
Exactly. So who has nukes in the Middle East? Do you know?
Well, they've never admitted to it.
Well, Israel has it. Do you know how they got it?
Well, let's see. Middle East.
They
I think they're
stole
the
the
only ones.
material from Pennsylvania. It's called the Apollo Affair. You can read about it. They actually stole it.
Okay,
It was a
but
crime.
we're in the
So they
weeds.
have it. So Israel has the nuke.
You
Why do
cannot.
countries have nukes? Do you
They
understand
they don't even.
deterrence?
You cannot let Iran have a nuke. You
See,
can't.
that's a dogmatic belief, but it has no
No,
basis
it's
in reality.
they've talked about using it and going after the Israel doesn't have a
They've
right to
never
exist.
talked about nuking another country. That has never
That's
happened
their whole
once.
end game. That's
No,
why do they want it? They don't. They're not
they
using it for
don't want
energy
it. If they wanted it,
purposes.
they would have had it. If they wanted it, they would have had it.
Yeah, they were almost there.
They weren't
Correct.
almost there. That's not correct.
Oh, I
How do
think
you
so.
what do you have to enrich uranium to have a bomb?
I'm not a nuclear scientist. I
Ninety
don't know.
percent. Okay, you have to reach about 90%. They could have done that for years and years, and they've chosen not to. Saudi Arabia, their arch enemy, does not have it, and they've said if Iran has it, they would have it. It makes no sense for Iran to get
It's
the
a
nuclear
safer
bomb.
world. What took
Iran
place?
has operated rationally when it comes to nukes, more rational than
No, come on,
Israel
come
has in the
on.
past. Yeah.
Ayatollah, come on.
I don't think you really know anything about them. They're not terrorists in the way that you think they are. They're horrible to their own
Oh, well,
people.
let's see. Roadside bombs. They took their own people out there and hung, what, 500 of them.
Okay,
And
so killing their own people. So did the Shah, who we supported. So did Saddam, who we put in there. So
okay, so
did
you want equivalence
Assad.
between the Shah and the Ayatollah.
No, no.
Okay,
What I want is for us to stop acting like we're the world's policemen, the same way that Trump said he would act. And I want us only to get involved if our interests are
it's done. The
legitimately
operation is
threatened.
done.
No, it isn't done. First
Yeah,
of
it's
all, 10
done.
seconds ago, the Iranian state media has already said that they're already fixing up those facilities and they're going even further towards the
Ooh, and
bomb.
we believe what they say.
I believe what they say more than what Trump said.
Look at
I'll
that
tell you
beautiful
that.
rain coming down. You
It is
wait,
nice.
what? What did you just say? You believe the Iranians over
So,
what
so,
Trump said?
so what Trump has been saying makes no sense. Think of it logically, okay? Say the roles
Oh,
were
wait a
reversed.
second. You believe the Iranians over the Iranian news service over our own
What
president?
Trump said in his 5 minute speech last night was stupid. It makes no sense.
You don't believe it.
It makes no sense.
He said nobody. They weren't even shot back at. They had no. They came in. There
Of
was. No,
course
they
they
did.
didn't, because what we're talking about, let me explain, right? When it comes to nuclear proliferation, the quest to get a nuke, America has the strongest conventional weapons on Earth, and they still have nukes. It's because it's a deterrence strategy. Okay. So when it comes to Israel, they have a nuke. And what have they done for the last 50 years? They preemptively struck Egypt in the 60s. They almost lost in 1973, and they went to Nixon and said, if you don't come here and
Okay,
save
but
us,
we're
we're going to
getting off
use
the
nukes.
topic. You
No, no,
think
no, we're not. We're not.
you think the strike was ill-advised?
I think that the strike has
Shouldn't have taken
proven,
place.
yeah, but let me explain why. It's not
Okay,
because I
but
want
that's what you
Iran to have a
believe.
bomb.
So we'll
Yeah,
just let them keep enriching, keep enriching. Let them get closer. Let them get close, and they won't use it because they said they wouldn't use it. Huh?
no, no. What I want is for our foreign policy to match not only Trump's views and what he said before getting in office, but I also want a strategy that makes sense logically. Let me explain. So right now, if you're any other country besides the West, any country that's not allied with America or Israel, what have these events showed you? Let's see if you can even draw this conclusion. I'm genuinely curious if you see any type of lesson to be learned by a country that's not allied with us.
All
What
right.
do
Well,
these
I'm
events show
I'm
you?
just the average Joe citizen. I'm looking at the Middle East, and I think this is going to help the Abrams Accord. I think this is going to relax the whole area. And if in the best case scenario now is the Ayatollah, what, Khamenei or whatever his name is,
Hmm.
just leave him in the bunker. Just put barbed wire, and that's his prison. Just leave him in there. Don't even get him.
Okay.
But if
So
the
actions
Iranians
have
take control and go
consequences.
back to a secular state, and even if they need a king, okay, bring the Shah's son back in, fine. Then that's a win. The whole area now is safer.
So first of all, what you're
What the
saying,
Europeans think about it, I don't care. What France thinks about it, I don't care.
well,
What
obviously you
Canada
don't
thinks
care
about
what
it,
anyone says. You don't
well,
care
no,
even
it's a
what their
safer world.
people
But
say. So you don't
they
believe in
just let they have open
self-determination.
borders. They have look at Canada. Look at the UK.
Okay,
Now,
so let's understand your viewpoint. You don't care not only what our allies say, forget about that. That's fine. I agree
you
with
got
you.
to have
Europe's
leadership in the
backwards.
world.
But
You
you
have to have
also
leadership.
don't believe in self determination or freedom for anyone other than America and basically any country that wants what we have.
You
If someone's
you
different,
cannot have an Ayatollah get a bomb. That's what I believe.
yeah, but you can't prevent that. That's
We
impossible to
just
prevent.
did.
No,
We
no, we
just
didn't.
did.
No, we didn't.
Let them try it again. But hopefully, like I said, the best case scenario is the Iranian people rise up. This is the time, and they take their country back. We're
Again,
not nation
go
building
back
there.
to
They
my
don't need
question.
us to do that.
After Iran, whatever happens there, whether they revolt and they enrich and they get the bomb, or whether they roll over and die like you expect them to, that's irrelevant. What
Who to roll over and
happens?
die? The extremists? I wish they would.
Well, you consider anyone who doesn't have your worldview an extremist or
No,
someone to
I don't
discount.
think. I think their population doesn't really want them either. But they have to. Now's their chance. They have to prove it.
So, what do you think this says to the countries that currently don't have a nuke but are not allied with us? Do you see any implication for that whatsoever?
Well, you know, the amount of money, you got to have a lot of money to have a nuke. I think there was like $2 trillion just got destroyed. I mean, you know, you can't, not any country can have one. I mean,
Well, actually, Pakistan could give them away. They can give them to their allies.
okay, but uh, they close the border when this happened? Some Iranians were trying to get into, was it Pakistan? I think they closed the border too.
This
They
is,
didn't want
let
any
me,
part of that.
I'll just
Russia's
explain.
their ally. They didn't want any part of it. So I do think it's a safer world.
I'll explain why it isn't. So, if you're any other country, including Iran, and you're not at all allied with the West, you can look at two different countries as an example. You can look at North Korea, or you can look at, we'll say, Libya. Now it's Iraq. Now it's Iran. You can look at any of these other Middle Eastern countries as an example to the latter, which is North Korea has a bomb. They're horrible people. They slaughter their own. They're backwards. They're terrible. It's disgusting what they do, but they cannot be touched.
Can we stay on the Middle
Versus
East?
Libya or Iraq or Syria or any of these other countries that you think we can just do
Well,
whatever we
I'll tell
want
you,
and
if
have no
these other
consequences
countries
in.
want to buy weapons, they better get them from America because Russia and the defense system they're in.
Russia's involved in a massive war with Ukraine that has over 1 million people dead on both sides
It's
almost.
terrible.
So they're distracted. I agree with you. They're lucky. Well, honestly, we're lucky that China hasn't done anything.
China doesn't have a leader at the moment.
Well, yeah,
He's
but we're
out.
gambling.
Xi is out.
Gee. No, but
Xi
Docs,
Xi
you have to
Jinping.
be a realist. Forget about your sense of right and wrong. Forget about your morality. Stop looking at this through good and evil, which we agree
I am not
they're
looking
evil.
at.
You are though, because everything you've said is an emotional
It's
response.
not an Ayatollah who's on the record that another
He's
their
never
goal is
said
to
to nuke
wipe
another
out
country.
Israel.
Has never been said,
Oh,
ever.
come on,
It
come
hasn't.
on.
You can look it up. It hasn't. When it comes to terrorism,
So
the
you
groups
trust
that
the
they support,
Ayatollah? Oh, they'll have the bomb, and it's well, we're not going to use
it's
it.
got nothing to do with trust. It's about being truthful and based in reality. That's all it's about. I hate the current government of Iran. They're disgusting, backwards people. They've done horrible things. But the fact is that what Israel has done in that region for 50 years, backed by the US and backed by the nukes that they stole from us, it has left a complete
So Israel
unbalance
does
of
not have the
power in
right
the
to
Middle East.
defend itself or to exist.
So you're saying they have a right to
No,
defend
I'm asking you:
themselves.
does Israel have the right to exist?
The right to exist, yeah, because they already
Okay,
exist. I agree with
okay,
that. And they
and
also have a right to defend themselves. But okay, let's use your terms. Does Iran have a right to defend themselves? Who struck who
but that,
first?
but
Who? No, 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 no,
them
no buts.
nuking
No
up,
buts. No buts.
is a defensive
They
posture.
don't even have nukes, so that doesn't make
Well, that
sense.
they were on the road to. They
No,
weren't going to have
no,
it
no, they were
now.
not. For
What
30
you
years, they've
what?
been on this road.
Come
For
on,
30
they're
years.
sitting on all that oil, and they need uranium. They need a nuclear reactor for.
Yes, they do. Are you kidding me? What about America? Why do we need nukes? Explain that. Why do we need nukes? We have the strongest military, conventional weapons. We have all this money. Why do
No, when
we
I
have
say they need
nukes?
nuclear, they don't need that for energy. They're sitting on energy.
It's got nothing to do with energy. It's a deterrence strategy. Why is it that Israel can have a deterrence
But you just said
strategy?
they're not going after a nuke.
Again, they're not. They should have. But if they chose
Well, they were
to, it's
enriching.
legitimate.
That was the end game. That's where they were headed.
During the Iran nuclear deal with Obama, all those sites were inspected, and there was never an
Explain to me,
instance where they were
since you
enriching
mentioned
to
Obama, why did
90%.
he send that plane load of money over to Iran? What was that about?
Do you have any idea about that original deal they had? Do you know what it
I don't know
was?
about
What
the
it
deal, but I
stipulated?
remember the plane load of money. What's that? What was that about?
So, what ended up happening is Obama realized, and this is one of the only things he really did that was actually good. A lot of his stuff was terrible.
Sending money to Iran in a
Well, see, you have a very simplistic view of everything, but it's a lot more complicated than you're making it sound. What ended up happening is he realized that, yes, if he could snap his fingers, he doesn't want Iran to have a nuke. No one wants that. You don't want that. I don't want that. None of Trump's people wants that. No Democrat wants that. But what they realized is we don't have that universal power to do whatever we want unchecked. If Iran truly wanted nukes, they could get it.
they were
That's a
on the
fact.
road.
And that
That's what
fact
they were
remains
doing.
even after the strike yesterday. That fact remains.
Well,
Yes,
hopefully
it
that won't
does.
happen. I heard
Hopefully, I
somebody on
agree.
Sky News Australia said he thinks any president would have done what President Trump. He said Biden would have done it. Obama would have
I'm
done it.
not
And I thought,
saying
no, that nobody, those two wouldn't have done it. Biden couldn't tie his shoes, but Trump could.
well,
Trump
let's
did.
go over.
Are you one of those never Trumpers? Just asking
I didn't
politely.
hear what you said. Repeat it.
Are you one of the never Trumpers? Are you?
No, I voted for Trump 3 times.
Oh, okay, great.
And I would consider myself a Republican, and I really would consider myself actually America first, whatever that is, regardless of who,
We take
it
care of
is
American
running.
people, yeah. And
So this is the issue, okay? All right, and actually, I want to catch up on some comments real quick.
I don't even look at him when I get a guest on. Morty's dying. Oh, Morty's there. Tommy. You want me to? You can see him, right? You want to start at the bottom and go up?
No, I was just reading.
And I don't have any filters on either, so be careful because anybody
These are
can
some good
comment.
comments. No, but you have to be honest. And
Uh-oh, Eldorf doesn't
I
like
read
you.
that. That was funny.
Tommy. Oh, let's
26.
see.
Thank you. No, so
Pavel, North Korea is an example. They'll leave you alone. Oh, you can't. Stop it. Leave North Korea out of this.
Well, but that's a perfect example of a rogue nation that we don't like, that Obama thought we were going to go to war with. And Trump had, the major discourse with them. I have a red button, it's bigger, and it actually works. All that stuff. But the fact is he would never actually go into North Korea. That's why, even though the Democrats wanted it, we would never last in a war with Russia. It would never happen. It would never get to that extent. That's why some people were pushing Ukraine so hard, because they have nukes.
It's
It's a
bad for
deterrent
business. War is
strategy.
bad for business.
But nukes are a deterrent strategy. That has a meaning.
Iran
Do
doesn't
you
need a
understand
nuke.
that?
Iran doesn't need a nuke.
No one needs it if everyone
Well,
didn't
who's
have it.
invading Iran? Who's threatening Iran? Israel
Israel.
didn't. Israel. No,
Israel.
they defend
Israel bombed
themselves.
them first. What are you kidding me?
No, but it's a
No,
defensive.
they didn't strike the nukes first. They struck ballistic missiles. They killed about 20 scientists, a bunch of generals. They
Iran has
struck,
been terrorizing the world. It's
how?
time to go. They have proxies all over the place.
Okay, name them. And where are
Okay,
they?
they're there. If I research it, I can come back.
You're thinking of Hamas, Hezbollah, and
Hezbollah.
the
I mean,
Houthis.
there's
That's
all.
all you have. Three groups, and those groups are ideologically different than actual terrorist groups like ISIS, Al
So,
Qaeda,
so you're
Boko
very
Haram. They're
disappointed in
totally different.
Trump for this surgical strike. That's bad policy in your view.
I think that what it'll ultimately lead to is a nuclear Iran, and every other country that isn't allied with the West now
But we
realizes
just
if they don't have a
destroyed their.
nuke,
So
they'll
they
be
will go out
invaded.
and buy one instead of trying to enrich
No,
them.
first of all, you have no idea what was actually destroyed. We don't even know how much was destroyed. That's issue number one.
Well, I
Issue
know the
number two,
intelligence agencies are pretty happy about
no,
it.
actually, they said, what is it, 2 days ago, yesterday, that it's too early to tell what the damage was. So that's not accurate either.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how would you get in there
Netanyahu
to.
just wrote 1 minute ago, Fordo very badly hurt, extent of damage still to be seen. So how do you know that it's
I
totally
don't know. I'm not
destroyed,
saying I do
but the
know.
leader of Israel does not? That's what I'm
I'm
saying. None
not
of you
saying I
have
do
any
know.
idea yet, but you're acting like it's done and it's over when it isn't.
It's never going to be over,
Well,
but
if it's never going to be over, then why
you
would we do
can't let
this?
them get
We
to the
were just
point where
told that
they.
this is meant to prevent them from getting a nuke and it's over. You just said that
Right.
about
Well,
10
no.
minutes
Well,
ago. Well,
yes.
that's not accurate.
Their enrichment program that they were going along, the little factory, the assembly line to get to the nuke, that is now gone. The assembly line is gone.
How do you know that?
Well, they've hit all
Netanyahu
the
just said that
things.
the
Pretty
damage
sure.
remains to
Pretty
be
sure.
seen. So that's number one. Number two, what if they had secret facilities that you're not aware of?
Okay, and if we find them, they'll go after them.
If we find them, see, this is too many ifs and whens. We should have only done this if we could determine with 100% certainty that we've moved their program back so many years.
Listen. Mossad, is that the correct word? The secret, the Mossad, the intelligence Israel had, they were in Iran. They were targeting all those scientists and leaders and everything else. So I probably think they got a pretty good feel for where they were and how close they were to getting a nuke. And I'm glad they didn't get it. It's
Well,
great.
that's a very simplistic view.
I'm a
You have
simple
no
guy.
idea. Yeah, but it's too
I
simplistic.
don't want an Ayatollah to have to be able, okay, fire it off, And then everybody, and then they just wring their hands. Oh,
I'm
it's
pretty.
terrible. It's terrible. Tel
But it's
Aviv just went
curious
up in
that you
smoke.
can't see any of the repercussions of that action. Even if you're 100% right, even if I give you every benefit of the doubt, Iran has no nuclear capability. They're totally wiped off. Even if that is the
The
positive that we
entire
agree on.
world was watching that, and they must have gone, oh my God. They flew in there. They weren't detected. They did the job. They came out. Nobody
No,
got hurt.
the only
Russia
reason we
can't
did
do
that,
that. China can't do that.
the only reason that we did that is because Iran didn't have a nuke yet. So every other country now realizes if they don't have a nuke, which is the ultimate deterrent strategy, that they're going to need to get one because if not, if they're not allied with the West, they're going to be
No, I
attacked.
don't.
Yes.
I don't know. I think you're
Yes.
thinking it through.
Yeah, I'm thinking
You're
it
thinking
through.
too much. You're
Exactly
thinking
right.
too much.
No, I'm thinking
It's
things
bad.
through. It's common sense.
If you want stable governments, the people, you need to grow their own economies. People want to improve their lives. The Ayatollah, it was just, the nuke came first. The people suffered. I think the people are glad he's gone. I hope they rise up.
Well, he's not gone
Now,
yet.
is that simplistic? Well, it has to be done if they want to change it. unless there's another Ayatollah in the waiting.
So when does America's interventionism, when does that stop for you? Does it ever stop?
It is the leader of the free world, okay? So it's great to have the negotiations going on. It's a safer world when Trump comes
Well, these aren't
in.
negotiations. What we did in Iraq was not. What we did in Syria was not. What we did in Yemen, what we've done in Iran. These are time after time people that you support, that you believe in.
I'm not a
Whether
Republican,
it's,
by the way.
I'm not talking about Republicans. I'm talking about Trump and the people that pushed him into this decision. Not the Tucker Carlsons, but the
You really
Mark
think they could
Levins.
push him into it?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
No, he has advisors, but they can't. If he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it.
Well, he
Who was
did.
pushing him for war was who was that guy with the walrus mustache? Who was
That's
a
John Bolton.
yeah. Now that he threw him out.
Well, John Bolton's very happy today, I can tell you that. So is Nikki Haley, who gave him a heart. So is Mark Levin, Sean Hannity. These are people that are not true America first. And they've proven it, not only in their words, but their
Who's not
actions.
America first?
Everyone I just named there.
Oh,
And
well,
you know what's
I don't
interesting?
listen to any
When
of them.
Trump was
Especially Tucker. I
questioned-
never listen to Tucker.
When Trump was no, Tucker is actually America first. When Trump was questioned about that,
Does
what did
America
he
first
say?
mean no strike? Does that mean
No,
no
no, America
intervention?
first means you only look at what's in America's best interests and you game theory it out to its logical conclusion and you
So
make
it's
a
not
determination.
in America's interest to have Israel as an ally. So it's
No,
okay.
no, no. Even if you
You
agree
can have the
that it
Ayatollah
is,
get the
even
bomb.
if you agree that it is in our benefit to have Israel, that's irrelevant. What's relevant is that you're making this seem like we can actually dictate to Iran that they won't have a nuclear bomb, and that's false.
We tried to get. We had him at the table. They would just do a
Yeah,
deal.
and then we killed the lead negotiator. I wonder what that
Well,
says
no,
to
but
our
yeah, but they were
enemies.
just stalling for time because they were getting closer and closer to the bomb. And once
Well,
they
that's what
got the bomb, then
negotiations. That's
everything
what happens.
changes.
Do you think that America actually has the moral high ground to dictate those terms and to be trusted? Do you really think that? Yes or no?
In regards to them having a bond, yes.
No, 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 no. In regards to anything, when we're
Well, no, of course
negotiating
not.
with Iran,
Of course not.
Okay, so if we don't have any,
That's
any,
the reason I want the
go ahead.
Ayatollah. The only demand was, no nuke.
Well, we'll see what happens, but I think you'll be surprised.
And there's always going to be problems in the world. There's always going to be hot spots, and peace through strength.
Peace through strength.
Now, is that simplistic? Well, yeah, I
Of
guess
course
so.
it is. Because what we've done and
You're
what
going to
our,
try to talk it out with some of these regimes? No, they
it's
laugh
got
at
nothing to
you.
do with
They
talking
laugh
it
at
out.
you
It's got nothing to do with talking it out.
or negotiating.
It's got nothing to do with that either. The fact is what we have done, our actions, the people you support, Trump killing Soleimani, then getting our U.S. bases struck and all those severe concussions that were caused, the Iraq war, all the people who died. These are the people that people like yourself, whether it's Happy Luxury,
Listen, I'm
Mark
just a voter.
Levin,
I'm not. I
Sean
didn't do
Hannity,
anything. I didn't
Netanyahu,
push any
but
button
those
to
are
go
the
into
people that you're
Iraq.
siding with, and every decision they've made also has all of
I
these
didn't say every
wonderful
decision they made is right.
Okay, well, let's think it
All
through
you did is
logically.
bring you on to talk about Iran having a
Okay,
nuke. That's
well,
that's the
okay,
only
let me
thing I'm
ask you this
talking
question.
about.
Let me ask you this question then. You just said that what we did was good
Yes,
because it made Iran
it was essential.
nuclear-free.
It had to be done, and we're the
Okay,
only ones that could have done it.
so Iraq being invaded had to be done because they also had a program,
I'm
right?
just staying on
No, no, no,
Iran.
no, no. Can you answer that question? That's a
No,
legitimate
I'm
question.
talking about Iran and then Ayatollah.
Okay, so you
no nuke.
can't answer the Iraq question?
I'm not interested in Iraq right
That's
now.
interesting. You can't answer that.
There's no equivalence there. I'm not an
There's
expert.
no
I'm not an
equivalence
expert
there?
on the Middle East. I'm just saying
It's not about being an expert. In 2003, 2004, 2005.
this is 2025.
Yeah, I'm asking you a question because the people that
I'm
you're
not a
supporting and
historian.
sided with have done this time after time again. They've had great reasoning, like you said, very simplistic. Iraq can't have a
I
nuclear
think
weapon.
President Trump
Iraq
made the
is
right
trying to get nuclear
decision,
weapons.
carried it
Let's
out
invade Iraq.
perfectly.
Now it's
The
Iran.
Ayatollah,
Then we had
and I
regime
hope he
change in
remains
Syria.
in the bunker, and they just put barbed wire around it.
What do you think of Syria? This is something that just
I
happened
don't think
last
I don't
year.
think anything is Syria.
Well, this just happened last year, so it's recent. And this is something that Israel wanted, and this is something that our administration
We need
put
the
up with.
free flow of oil at market prices, and Iran is now gone. They can't interfere with the shipping lanes. It's great.
They can't interfere with the shipping
They're not
lines?
going forward, or they're going to get thumped.
Oh, God.
Like the Houthis. The Houthis, they had enough of that nonsense.
The
They signed it.
Houthis, do you even know what the Houthis said yesterday?
Well, they
No.
told America, no, stop it. Well, we won't do it anymore. But
No,
what they
no.
say and what they do, that's two different things.
Okay, well, we struck the Houthis repeatedly and nothing was done. They're still there, so we couldn't defeat
Well,
them.
they're there, but they signed something. They agreed
Yeah,
not
and
to.
they just tore that up yesterday. They said the ceasefire is
Okay,
over.
then I guess they're going to get it. We've got two carrier fleets there, so all right.
Why couldn't we take them out the first time if we're that strong and it's that easy?
Well, we take out their launchers in that, but
Well,
if they do
obviously we
anything,
didn't.
they're
They
going to
still
get
exist. They
they're
still
going to
have all
get
that
hit.
infrastructure.
Okay, then I guess they're going to get hit.
All right. I guess we're going to get hit too.
Well, if they can reach us, but if they do, then I guess
It's not
we
about
would
reaching
hit.
us here.
I
It's
believe
about
we could hit
reaching
them
our
harder.
military out there.
I woke up this morning. I didn't watch the president speak because I'm glad I didn't stay up that late, and
It was
I
only
listened
5
to it.
minutes.
Okay, and then I listened to some other channels, and then I think it was fantastic. Nobody got hurt. No American got hurt. No plane went down.
Not yet.
Well, okay.
We did the strike yesterday. They didn't respond. How many days did it take them to respond to Soleimani? Do you know? 5.
I don't know.
Took 5 days.
Yeah, you still take him out. If you got the opportunity, you still take him out.
Why? What did he do? Do you know
Because
anything about it?
I didn't sit in
No.
on the intelligent briefings, but
No, you could just look him up or understand anything. It's not that these are good people, but again, you're making everything a moral argument. Yeah, you are.
a moral argument.
Yeah, everything
Well,
about
yeah,
your worldview is
terrorism,
good versus evil,
civilian,
which is the neocon way of thinking.
I think the Ayatollah is a death cult, is evil. Yeah.
Did you think Assad was?
I didn't really think much of Assad. I didn't focus
Did
on
you
him.
think Saddam Hussein was?
He was a little bit crazy, but I didn't really focus in on him.
What about Gaddafi?
Gaddafi, I didn't really focus on him. I'm just looking at Iran. I'm sticking with Iran and the Ayatollah.
How can you only look at one, though, when this is
Because
part
that
of a
strike was
bigger
just a strike with
operation?
them. Now, what other people think about it, they're going to think about it.
Every argument you've made this far could be used to justify our strike in Iraq, our strikes in Libya, and our regime change in Syria. And all
President
of those
Trump has
decisions
always
were
been
wrong.
against going into Iraq.
Actually, even if that was the case, it doesn't matter because even though he's claiming that, the
He would have been
logic they
talked into it.
used to justify going into Iraq is the same logic that he used for this. You know what also Trump was against 10 years ago? Going into Iran. And he said anyone who attacks Iran, he said this to Obama specifically, said that it's their failure of negotiation and that it's effectively rolling over to the military-industrial complex.
Oh,
He wrote that on Twitter about 10 times.
You think I'm simplistic? Can you imagine negotiating with the Ayatollah's people? No, there's nothing to negotiate
It's got
with
nothing
them.
to do with negotiating or taking their word for it. The fact is they had no policy to achieving a nuke. They weren't rushing to get one. For 30 years, we've heard the argument you're making.
Well, it
and
takes a
was
little
not true.
time.
2
Takes a
months
little time.
before
They
this
were on the
occurred,
road. They were
Tulsi Gabbard said that this
They
was
were
not
enriching
the case.
uranium. That's what they wanted. They wanted a nuke at the end.
They wanted a nuke after being struck. Yeah, they did. Do you blame them?
It wouldn't have been
After they
used.
were
They would
struck,
have
remember,
used it.
they didn't
Come on,
strike
Tommy.
Israel
They would have
first
used
here.
it. They would
They
have
didn't
used it.
strike Israel first here. They were attacked. Their embassy in Syria was hit. People died. They struck Israel. That evened the score. Israel responded again. Then Iran responded again, and it was back to being even. And then over almost a year goes by, and then Israel strikes preemptively, as they usually have in their history. And they did it knowing that America had to get involved because they didn't have the capacity to hit the Fordo site.
Right.
Yeah.
Leadership. What about tariffs? You want to talk about tariffs quickly, or you got to run?
Yeah, we could talk tariffs.
Yeah, I just get a kick out of it when they all say Trump's tariff war or Trump has a tariff. They all have tariffs against us.
Yeah.
It's just getting it back. What about Canada? Is that going to be separate? We're going to have Western Canada break away. Alberta.
I think most of the trade deals will be made. I don't think tariffs are a big deal.
Yeah, well, Canada thinks it's going to hurt them, going to destroy their economy.
Well, that's a negotiation tactic. The fact is Trump is correct that, like you said, a lot of those countries tariff us, and Trump is advocating for reciprocal, which obviously means we do the same to them. And they
Yeah,
don't like
all they
that,
got to
and they
do is
complain.
wait it out. The other countries just wait it out. Another Democrat gets in, then it all goes to hell.
That's true. I agree with that.
So just like the wall, I knew when they were building it, Trump's first term. I said, a Democrat gets in, it's meaningless.
Hmm.
And that's how you destroy a country. You just open the borders.
So how do we fix that?
You seal the border, but you got to deport a lot of the criminals first.
But you just said that the right is not going to maintain power. So the only way that you can fix that
Well, but
really
when you
is
get your
if you have
chance,
one person leading.
you've got to do something when you have your chance. You got to. That's the reason I will never ever vote for a Democrat.
Hmm.
So you golfing today, Tommy?
Not today.
Not today.
I should though. Soon.
When are you moving to Florida?
Never.
Never.
Way too hot.
It's well, okay. You got me on that one. I told you, maybe I didn't tell you. You don't listen to the Doc's Report regular basis, but I was out on the hedge, 70 degrees, 70% humidity, and I just thought, what am I doing? This is killing me. I just had such a bad experience. I thought, I got to get in the house. I'm going to have a heat stroke. And I thought, okay, you got some money. I have no excuse. I'm going to pay to somebody, whatever, just. In fact, I'm going to email the guy today and say, hey, how about giving my hedge a haircut? He's the guy that put in the rock around it and gave it a cut at one time, and just bag it up. I was going to, once you learn to save money, I was thinking, okay, he'll give me a better price if I rake it up. I go, no, stop it. I'll work out at the fitness center. I don't have to work out on the edge, out in the heat. So,
Crappy has a great comment.
Who?
Thank the heavens I wasn't there advising General Eisenhower.
Oh, Morty.
That was
There
a
it is,
good,
Morty Diner.
was a
Doc's
good deal.
Report. Thank you. Let's see. Thank the heavens. Tommy wasn't there advising General Eisenhower on the proposed D-Day. Oh, he'd be there. Oh, what do you think the world's going to think of that, General Eisenhower? You think you got the moral high ground against the Nazis?
No, that was good. My grandpa was there in Europe fighting.
My dad was in the Air Force, but he didn't talk too much about it. He was like a mechanic or something.
I think
He may
should
spend
only
a couple
be-
days in the brig too.
For what?
Who knows?
It doesn't sound good.
A card playing or something,
That's funny.
Morty Diner, everyone keep their flashlights on high alert. Be ready, be prepared. Now, since Morty's listening, he's got a thumbnail that says, send gifts now. So I try to give this guy a knife. He doesn't want the knife. He doesn't want a gift. He wants the money. But I tried. Do you have any other hobbies? Do you collect anything other than the golf clubs
Collect?
and everything? Well, not collect. I should say your interest.
I mean, there's things I like, but in terms of actually like dedicating a lot of time to it, golf is the main thing now.
The main thing. Are you? Is your goal to be a scratch golfer?
Not so much goal, but I definitely want to improve for sure.
Oh, you're young. You got plenty of years to work on your game.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for stopping stopping by, making this into a show. Because I did a stream yesterday, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to set it up and just play some music, and, why do I have to entertain? Just get in the comments.
Weren't you done with the Archieverse at one point? Like recently? I thought
Yeah,
you were
well, I
done.
am done. Well, I'll discuss it. I'll talk about it. I mean,
Oh, okay.
when he goes after Mike the Snake, or Mike the Snake talking back to him, that was a big story. Or he goes after Aaron, then I'll get that kind of. But as far as PayPal and then checking it all the time, no, I don't want to do that. So I try to make. Oh, where do you stand on the UAP thing? Unidentified anomalous What is it?
Aerial
UAP
phenomenon.
phenomenon, right? Non-human
Phenomena.
intelligence, biologics. Are we being visited from other dimensions or galaxies or universes? What do you think?
I
I want to
think
know
that
Tommy's perspective on this.
I don't really have a firm perspective. I
You
think
don't?
that ultimately the sheer scale of how big space is, and it's really impossible for us to comprehend that. I
Right.
would be very surprised if we were the only living things. But does that mean single cell organisms? Does that mean actual, things that are like us? I have no idea.
From
Uh,
my,
I I I know it goes back a long time, and I know that there's a lot of military witnesses to things that don't make sense, like the
they
Tic
had
Tac.
congressional hearings on it.
Yeah,
They're supplying the data.
exactly. And it's very easy to paint someone as an idiot or a nut job talking about this. So I think that that stifles genuine discourse. But there's enough genuine people that are sane in every other aspect of their life, so you can take them seriously, and they genuinely believe that they've seen things that support that there are other things
We
out there.
and we cannot understand.
Yeah. So I would be open to it, but until I see it.
From my limited research of it, the things that pilot the crafts didn't
Yeah.
build them. They were biologics that were made by the thing, the intelligence that built them. They don't remember when we first went up in space. It was dogs and monkeys,
Yeah,
you know.
chimps, yeah.
So these, and that's probably the reason we can't re-engineer them because they're part of the avionics of it, you know. They're not thinking about getting home, you know. There's something else going on.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, of course.
You got stuff to do today?
Uh not really.
Not really. It
It's
sounds like
Sunday.
my life.
It's Sunday.
I
Tomorrow I
folded
do.
the wash and I laid out my fitness clothes for Monday.
I was up late as hell last night, so I woke up late.
Oh, you were on Angelic_Slayer channel.
Yeah.
And why are you going with Narc? Does Narc add anything?
Narc wasn't on yesterday.
Or wasn't he on? He must have seen
No.
him somewhere else.
Narc is great. I think he's really the only person
Narc
left
is
that
great.
I think he's the only person left on the streams that we frequent that can provide consistent entertainment.
Really? What
100%.
what about Mental Jock? Were you on with Mental Jock?
uh,
No, it was Jay Gray. I know it was Jay Gray, you,
Jay
and
Gray was on. Yeah, I like Jay Gray a lot. Good guy. I've had good off-air conversations with him. His beliefs are probably a little bit further out there than I am, but very nice guy.
have you ever heard Morty's laugh?
I think so. I actually like Crappy a lot. I think out of the people that are currently streaming, I think he's one of the best. I've had good talks with him, and I know we don't always agree on everything, especially in terms of this issue. But I do agree with a lot of his support for Trump, and I think ultimately he does have a good show. He was where I first told the story of getting my pillow, actually.
I'm looking for his laugh. I can't find it. I want to. Did you hear his Academy Award type moment laugh?
No.
Oh, you got to hear this. You know, Jack Nicholson had his A Few Good Men. You Can't Handle the Truth, but Morty, he started laughing. I thought, is this real? Is this? In fact, I was on his show and I asked him, "Is this organic or is this a performance?" And he says only he knows. Let me find it here. Okay, there he is. I got a complete
Oh, wait a second. Is this when he started the stream and he was just laughing for like
with
forever because of what
Morty.
happened
I
to
mean, excuse
OC?
me, with OC.
Yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious.
Oh
That's great.
man. Fucking hell.
I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah, it was funny. That was
Okay.
probably one of the best things. he's
Funny.
done
It
in a
was
while.
like I thought it was disturbing at first. I go, I wonder if he's on some dental medication. What is?
No,
or
he's great.
completely lost it. But if that was a performance, that's pretty good.
Of course, it was a performance. Yeah.
It wasn't organic. Maybe he just
No, he forced it to go that long, but it was great.
so. So let's say if I was paying in some money and I said, okay, I want to pay for your laugh, and I get him on and I say, okay, go. He could do that again.
Yeah,
Oh wow,
of course. What are you kidding me?
he's a professional.
He is.
I'm getting chewed out by him. Morty Docs doesn't check all the chats during the show. He's the non-chat reader. Well, no, I have a guest on, and if I focus on that, then I can't listen to him. I can't. I'm not a multitasker.
You got to be a multitasker. Crappy is.
Not really. I don't
You
think
can
it's even.
watch Sean Hannity and comment at the same time.
Okay, I've never cared for Sean Hannity. I don't know why. I've just never cared for him.
And he's an idiot. Well,
Justin
actually, I take
Forge,
that
he
back.
thinks it's acting, Docs. It's acting. Well, then he's a talented. He's talented. I couldn't do that.
Manuals. That's funny.
To the annual sniff, or whatever that is. Okay, what else you want to talk about? Any
Anything.
beefs with the Docs report?
No. I think that your worldview is ridiculous.
Too simplistic?
That's my
I
only
believe in
beef.
good and evil, and too simplistic. It's black and white.
Yes. You need to
And,
watch Mearsheimer, Jeffrey Sachs. You got to look at the truth, man. Got to look
You
at
got
the
to
truth.
be, got to get further intellectually deep into things. You don't make a quick decision.
I think you can make a quick decision, but I really do think you need to think things through further than you did.
Think it through. What other people are going to? How will this affect other? I think they thought that all through. I mean,
I
you
don't
can
think
say
so.
you can say you got the best military in the world. You can say that, but can you back it up?
Well, the reason it took so long for the strikes to happen is because people at the highest levels were disagreeing. So obviously, some felt the way you
No,
did,
no,
and
no,
some
no,
felt the
no.
way
Now
we
you
did.
sound like the media. You're reading your own thing into it.
No, I'm not talking about the stuff that the media was saying. I'm talking about what we saw with JD Vance and what we saw with Hegseth, what they said, and other people, not only in his government, but the split between the commentators, the Mark Levins versus the Tucker Carlson. That's the perfect
They
example.
don't matter.
They do
The
matter.
talking heads don't matter. Not really.
It's not so much the talking heads themselves, but they're voicing there. I can tell you from my own experience that there's a ton of people that are my age that are younger that supported Trump because of the anti-war stuff. That was the most
So
important
a
thing.
surgical strike means he's he's a warmonger.
No, see, it's a false
Oh, I'm asking.
equivalence.
I
It's strong.
didn't.
No, I wouldn't go that
Okay.
far. It's definitely not a warmonger.
Okay.
But what he did was something that didn't need to happen. That's what those people feel. I'm not saying right or wrong. Take me out
Okay.
of this.
Okay.
But
Fair.
Tucker Carlson's side of the party, so to speak, believes that.
Do you,
Whereas Mark Levin and Sean Hannity's side thinks exactly like you do, which is this is not just a moral thing, even though it is, but we are safer without Iran having a bomb, which is a true statement,
you know?
and that we can get rid of their capacity to have it.
Do you
That's
know
where
why?
I disagree.
Do you
But
know why
that's what they
Mark
feel.
Hannity will? What's his that? His
Mark
first? No,
Hannity.
Tucker Carlson. Tucker
Tucker
Carlson.
Carlson.
Carlson. Is that his name?
Yeah,
Carlson.
Carlson. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why he doesn't cover UAPs?
You tell me.
He's a Christian. He said that. Don't ask me what it means.
He said that?
Yeah.
That's funny. The fuck does that mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I get.
Well, I guess it means that
I'll have to find
if
that. I
God
gotta back.
created everything in His image.
And maybe this is demons, but I gotta find that clip. I found it on X.
Actually, I think I do understand what he means, but that's kind of a ridiculous.
There's that
statement.
aspect to it. There's some ranch and there's some aspect to that which I don't cover here, but I just do on the phenomenon.
I agree with Crappy in the chat there. That's 100%.
Oh, is Krabby mouthing off? What's he talking about? All right. Morty Diner. I haven't watched Sean Hannity since he had Kim Kardashian as a guest many years ago and didn't ask her any real questions about her Slimy background, total puff piece. Okay, you agree
Now,
with that?
here's one question for you, Crappy. How did you feel when Trump had her in the White House and gave her all of that legitimacy? Did you have any opinion on it?
Didn't she do something for the
Prisons.
prisons? Yeah,
Yeah, that's what she
parole.
was there to advocate on.
Yeah, that was nice of her, wasn't it? I mean, that was.
I think it could have happened without her being involved.
But who else was pushing for it?
I think anyone. Well, it depends. Do
Nobody,
you know
nobody
what she was
stood
pushing
up
for?
for it, and nobody came forward.
But what about prisons? That
What?
there's too many. That there's too
Well,
much
no, she was going for
incarceration.
like people should be the drug charges or something on the being paroled, getting people out of jail for nonviolent crimes or something, whatever she got done. That was great. Trump did that, and they also went after the pharmaceutical companies, which I didn't think anybody would go after on the generic thing.
Oh, there we go. I cut out. What do you think of Operation Warp Speed?
Operation Warp Speed.
That was the vaccine.
Sorry?
That was the vaccine.
Oh, the vaccine. And now it's hindsight, looking back, and I did get the vaccine. I got the Pfizer one.
Yeah.
Went through that. Looking back on it, what we knew at the time, I didn't know how bad the doctor, who's the chief CDC guy, the Fauci. Yeah, I didn't know he was giving money to funneling money to the lab there in China, right? Isn't that what came out later?
Yeah.
Backdoor money.
I don't want to get in the whole thing with COVID, but my point is that a lot of people, like you just said, he's anti big pharma, but a lot of people also point to warp speed and the vaccine itself
Well,
as the culmination of big pharma.
a killer disease, a killer virus at the time, and I'm elderly, but so I'll take the vaccine. I mean, what can you do?
Fair enough.
What we know
Crappy
now,
says-
I know since I'm living in the villages here. I mean, I've heard stories, neighbors, they wouldn't get one, and he's gone, and the wife is left. She can't afford the house, and
Really?
then there's a guy up the street who was 80s, in his upper mid 80s, and he had the vaccine, and I think it saved him because he did get the virus. And then this spring I got it. I was running around coming out here to buy my house in 2020.
Yeah.
And that was like the height of it. And you couldn't even go out. They wouldn't even want you in the house. You got to wear booties in the house, and everybody was freaking out. But I didn't get it until this year, and I couldn't drink water. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't drink water. And then they got that blister pack, Paxlovid. There's 3 tablets. 12 hours I was feeling better. I could drink water. So I believe in taking medication. But as far as you getting a vaccination, that's your call. If you want to. Now I read another one. They got this RSV vaccine. I'm going, oh, what the hell? Maybe I should talk to my. And I only if you have certain conditions, So I probably won't get it. And I did get the what's the one? The shingles one. I got the updated shingles one, and I got the pneumonia one. I think that's a great one. You got to get 2 shots, 6 months apart, and because that'll kill you. Pneumonia will put you. That's a killer. Isn't it fun getting old? You're going to be there someday, Tommy.
Hopefully not for a while.
You think you're going to make it to 71?
Yeah, probably.
When's your exit? What would you like to be? What age that you think, okay, I made it. That's fine. I made it to this point. It's okay. I can go. What's that?
I don't know
what's
if
that
I
magic
thought about
number?
it that seriously, but 80, I guess, would be a good number.
80? No, wait till you're 71.
My parents are 75, 74.
Are they healthy like 75, 74? Or
Yeah.
kind of? Oh, great. It just depends how you age, if you take care of yourself. But my feeling is mid 80s, okay, let me out. Make it quick, though. I don't want to linger.
Yeah. What do you think of Thomas Massey? Do you follow him?
Thomas who?
Massey.
Thomas Massey. No,
He's a
never heard of him.
congressman. A lot of people like him for
Oh, is he the
being
black guy out of the district?
no,
The
he's
Tommy
white.
Massey. I like him. Let me put that in here. My congressman,
This is no, not from Florida. No.
Tommy Massey. Congressman Tommy Massey, Massie, U.S. Representative, Lewis County. What state is he out of? Kentucky. What's he in the news about?
Well, multiple times he's gone against Trump. He put a resolution forward basically saying what happened, whether you agree it was right or not, is unconstitutional.
What did he do that's unconstitutional?
So I guess the argument follows that only Congress, and this is also what Bernie Sanders said when he heard the news, he was in a speech, is that Congress has the sole power to declare war. And they
Okay.
look at all of these involvements as a joining of war, and that it's unconstitutional. That's the argument. Now, obviously, Trump
You know,
and
if
Bush.
it was up to Congress,
Yeah.
the Ayatollah would have a dozen bombs because they can't get anything done. Look at the UK. What can they get done? They can't. They can't get anything done. You got to have a strong president. I hope they get to the bottom of this. Who was running the auto pen in the previous administration.
Oh, yeah, that was bad. So why do you think that there's more Democrats than Republicans?
Because all the public sector workers are Democrats, because that's who they want a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And the college things, it's cool to be anti-establishment, nobody wants to do hard work.
But aren't the Republicans, at least Trump's Republicans, the true anti-establishment?
The Republican, well, Trump had to defeat the Republicans first, so he's really a populist. But I don't know if we'll ever have another one. I don't know, but that's not where my focus is. It's being spiritually centered, because that's all I got really. When you strip it away.
Did you see 25 Christians got killed in Syria?
No, I did not. Were they beheaded or something, or?
I think it was a church was suicide bombed.
Oh God, I know, it's terrible. This is where we live. This is the world we live in. Oh, look, we got the Argentine peso cannon. Lex and Tommy enjoying the show.
Thank you, GD.
Send money now. I'll say it for you, GD. Send money now. Send money now. Oh, your friend Watch Nicholas got demonetized for a month, GD. You got to send all those pesos to Morty.
Yeah.
So I don't want to follow the news, because it's like I get upset. Well, why get upset? If I want to learn something, I'll
you
get
have
online.
to get upset.
Well, because and then they want to, rattle your chain because they want views. I'm talking about all the media outlets.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like this could happen, or that could happen, or this could happen, or we don't know. No, stop it. Don't need it. I will watch, some of the overseas stuff, but there was a good guy. There was a Tosi, is it Tousi?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the UK, and his dad was in Iran, and he was level-headed. He was giving good information on it, so I'd go to him for the.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He says, don't believe everything on the internet, And I was on X, and they showed a B-52. It was, on the ground. Oh, it crashed, but it was like in perfect condition. No, come on, stop it.
Yeah.
How do you know, Lex? It couldn't. Well, I'm pretty sure. If we would have lost a plane, he would have said that. Because there would have been the evidence, and it would have been hauled out, and then it would have been proven, they had lied to us, that kind of thing. You know what I should do? I should have Morty on and talk about Tommy. While you're not here, when you leave.
That'd be fun.
Well, he talks about Jenny. I think he mentioned you on the show last night.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was streaming. I
He
felt
was.
bad when I found that other one, because Nick was demonetized. I was like, oh, okay. Angelic, we can start. I didn't
Can you
realize that Crappy started.
can you imagine laying in bed all day? Do you? That's what he said. Oh, I can't get out of bed. I was in bed all day. I can't even imagine doing that.
Well, is he pretending or did he actually do
I don't
that?
know. I don't understand his. In fact, I wrote it down. I don't understand his wit, sarcasm, satire. I don't or ridicule. I don't understand it at all.
Hmm.
Stephen Wright, like that. Well, he was kind of funny, but not. I don't understand saying if you're in bed all day how that's funny, or that's
Hmm.
just routine. I don't know.
If it came out that other countries, whether it's Iran or anything else, pursued a bomb or got a bomb because of the strike, would that change your opinion of it at all, or no?
If that stopped them or made them get it, but
If what happened made people realize they need it to not get invaded and other countries pursued it, not saying that'll happen, but let's say it did, would that change your mind on the strike or no?
uh, well, I don't think
Like you said
so.
with Operation Warp Speed, obviously now we know that there was a lot of nonsense with Fauci, but at the time, that's how it felt. So I can understand before seeing the consequences thinking Iran can't have a bomb and
So
this made sure
let's
they
see.
can't.
Vietnam is watching this, and they said, "Oh, look at what Trump did. We need a bomb now." I don't think so.
No, any country, Vietnam's not a good example because they're not against us, but any country that is against us,
And that's a communist country that I guess is working,
is
right?
it?
Well, the economy, and I think
I don't know
China.
much about Vietnam.
Oh, I don't either. It's just they're communists, aren't they?
I don't know.
They won, but
You
okay.
think they
I
won?
don't. An example like, does Australia have a nuke? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe they do.
This is purely hypothetical. Let's say there was a country that matched the criteria I said, and let's say that they pursued a bomb. Let's say it's Iran. Let's say they pursued a bomb because of this strike in secret. They pushed as hard as they could because it's not that difficult to go from enriching, let's say 50%, 60% to 90. It's not that difficult. It doesn't take a ton of time. Let's say they
Well,
rushed to get
let's
one
back
though.
up on that statement. It does take the technology, the time, the scientists, the equipment to get to a nuke, and they
Once
were
you already
doing
have
it.
the infrastructure in place to enrich it from 20% to 40% to 60%, that is not something that
Well,
takes you
remember
a
the
super long time.
Israelis put in the virus in their centrifuges or the computers or whatever. Remember that story? And that delayed it.
I
They
think
kept
so.
trying to delay and did everything they could. Don't do this. We don't want you having the nuke.
Hmm.
All right, here's Morty. He's confessing. Docs, all I said about Tommy last night was that he's a very intelligent guy, but we look at things differently on the record.
Stuxnet, Pavel's right. I remember reading about that. See, Jay Gray, here's Jay Gray, finally, someone that I can point to.
Jay Gray, it is what is going to happen proliferation because of the strong leadership of President Trump.
Thanks, Scrappy. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, I agree with Jay Gray. I think ultimately that's what's going to happen. I could be wrong, but my question to you it's purely hypothetical. If that was the case, if Iran, and remember, when it comes to enriching uranium, it's not a linear
It,
progression. Going from 0.1% to 40% is much harder than 40
if
to 90%.
if if the hypothetical has to give me some the hypothetical country, if they're very hostile, they're very anti something, and they're you know they're
It doesn't
some.
matter. My point
Well,
is
I think it does
obviously
matter.
you and I would agree that the more countries that have nukes, the more dangerous it is. We agree with that premise, right?
Yes, the wrong countries. Yes, Iran with a nuke would be very very dangerous.
Okay. So let's say because of this action, let's say a consequence occurred that you did not foresee that led to them pursuing the nuke at a faster rate and they got it. Would that change your mind of the validity of striking Iran in the first
I don't
place?
know. I mean,
Okay.
I can't see of a
I think that's
country.
pretty common sense to say yes, it should, because that means that there were unintended consequences that were talked about at the time. Everything I'm saying here is not coming from me. This has been advocated by Tucker Carlson, Mearsheimer, Sachs, multiple people, Steve Bannon, all the way to Trump's top advisors. Some of them were advocating that. So it's not something that was unforeseeable.
Well, he decided not to listen to him, right?
Yeah, but that's the whole point of the
Maybe he's a simple guy
hypothetical.
too.
Okay. 300 Russian nuclear scientists in Iran studying the knowledge of that so-called charlatan. That's what Jay Gray said. I'm not sure what he means.
That he talks in code. You got to be. He figures. Oh, I don't want to. That's part of the thing. Oh, you got to figure it out.
Ah, Timona, okay.
I'm so smart. You're going to have to figure it out. What else you want to cover?
Does it bother you that Israel stole the nuclear material from us?
Well, does it bother me that who was one of their prime ministers, Malcolm Begin, that he blew up a hotel with the British in there? Yeah, but
Okay.
Sure it bothers me, but
Yeah, cash.
but
Okay, it
that
bothers you.
doesn't mean that that justifies Iran having a nuke, an
Would it
Ayatollah.
bother you? Would it bother you if Israel called up Nixon and said, "If you don't support us, we're going to have to nuke countries like Egypt"? This is 1973.
Did that
Would that
happen?
bother you?
Did that happen?
It's called the Samson option, and a lot of people say it did. Yeah.
Oh, well, but it didn't happen. If it
Well, they
happened, it would have
threatened
bothered
that,
me. But
and
they have a peace
Nixon
agreement now,
decided to
don't
get
they?
involved.
Did they make peace with Israel now?
Who? Egypt?
Egypt?
Well, yeah, but we're talking about
And I think
1973.
now that Iran's out of the way, and they don't want to talk about this, the Abrams Accord, I think there's going to be more countries now making peace with Israel.
I'm surprised you really think Iran is just going to step back and
That changes a
roll
lot of
over.
things. Well, no, they want, if he stays in power, if the nutters stay in power, the
Let's
Ayatollahs
bring
stay
up
in
Loose
power.
Tooth's comment. It's a legitimate question, but I think it's easily rebutted.
That's a mess. South Africa is now a mess. Jay Gray,
Oh, that's true, Jay Gray. That's actually true. That doesn't
South
get talked
Africa
about
has
anymore.
nukes thanks to Israel. Okay.
Yeah, they had and that was the apartheid regime there. That was not the current state of South Africa.
Well, that is scary because just the fact I don't think they can take care of them. The power, they can't keep power to certain sections of the country. They can't keep the electricity on. Who's maintaining the nukes?
Yeah.
Well,
Loose Tooth,
now
Loose
they
Tooth.
could sell them. Iran could buy them from them. Yeah, I guess that's possible.
Pavel also has an interesting comment, but I would say if we look at Iran's actions, not the rhetoric, even though I agree rhetoric matters, if we look at just the actions, I haven't seen too many actions taken by them that show that they are irrational figures in terms of nukes. I haven't seen any evidence of that. The
Who,
rhetoric is bad, but so is the rhetoric of a lot of countries, including Pakistan, and they have
who are you
nukes.
talking about? The Soviets or Iran?
Iran.
Iran.
Now, when it comes to what Loose
If I
Tooth
were
said,
to do my homework now after this show, which I'm probably not
yeah.
going to do, they're responsible for a lot of terrorism, a lot,
So,
modern day.
so
It
that goes
goes
back
back
to my
to
original
them. They
question.
have proxies that do a lot of killing.
I agree with that, but so does Saudi Arabia, the other side of the coin. Both of them
Yeah, but
are
I
in
never hear Saudi
ideological
Arabia
war.
say, yeah, we need a bomb. We're going to wipe off. We want to
No, all they
destroy
did
Israel.
was attack us on 9/11. That's all Saudi Arabia ever did. They're not
Well,
state-sponsored
individuals
terrorism,
did.
right?
That wasn't
No,
a
no, no. They
government.
weren't individuals. This was
You
the
don't think that
government that
was? Are you
supported
telling me
them.
that was a government operation?
I can tell you for 100% facts the government agents of Saudi Arabia supported the hijackers in America. Yes, I can tell you that for a
So
fact.
Saudi Arabia
Yes,
saw
Saudi Arabia.
benefit
That's
on bringing
why
down the
that
Twin
the
Towers.
9/11 victims are suing this country of Saudi Arabia, not the individuals.
Well,
And
I
that's been
guess if they
going on
got
for
proof of it,
decades.
they got
There's
emails.
plenty
They
of
got
proof of it. There's plenty of proof of that. And
okay.
Pakistan's own ISI, you know what the ISI is?
No.
That's their CIA.
Okay.
Pakistan's head of their CIA was caught wiring $100,000 to the lead hijacker. Pakistan has nuclear weapons, and yet we've done nothing to Pakistan. So that shows you that this has nothing to do with getting rid of our enemies. It's getting rid of weak countries that don't have nukes yet. That's why my argument is that this shows that countries that don't have nukes are going to get
Well,
attacked,
I don't
and
think it's
nukes are a
okay.
deterrence
Okay,
strategy.
that's your position. I don't think
That's
it's
my
going to lead to
position.
proliferation.
Well, I do. But loose tooth's comment, I think, is a good question. I'd pull that up.
The legitimize? If Iran wanted to legitimize, is that the one?
Yeah.
Loose tooth. If Iran wanted to legitimize its nuclear program, why hasn't it built nuclear power plants to benefit people and not be a-holes?
Ayatollahs, yeah. I think that's a good question, but I think that the logic, the premise there is wrong, which
They
is
wanted a weapon.
they did
They
want a
wanted
weapon.
a offensive weapon.
So that's not
That's
the
black and
case.
white.
That's not the case. No, it isn't. So when it comes to nuclear weapons, your question makes it sound loose tooth that you think the only legitimate reason for them to have it is for energy purposes, right? That's pretty much what the premise of your question is. That doesn't hold it up to criticism.
Let's.
Most countries on Earth that have nukes have it because of defensive purposes, as a deterrence strategy. It's got nothing to do with nuclear energy. Yes, that's nice, and some countries pursue that. Look at Germany, they got rid of all that. But why do countries hold on to nukes? Why does India and Pakistan have it? Why does North Korea have it? Why do
I
we
think
have it?
a
Because
more
it's a
reasonable
deterrence strategy. That's it. It's deterrence. Because we know
hypothetical.
if we use nukes, the other side will use nukes. So no one uses nukes. It's called MAD, mutually assured destruction.
Here's how millions of people die. The Ayatollah does get in a couple. They get 2 or 3 or 4 nukes, okay? And then Israel has intent. The intelligence are going to start lobbing them. Israel has
Why
that
would
first,
Iran
and now you're going to
strike
have millions
Israel
of
with
people gone
nukes?
because the Israelis are not going to sit by because
Why
it's
would
who
Iran
launches
strike?
first. That's what
Why
counts.
would Iran strike Israel with nukes if Israel's just going to strike them back? Why?
Say that again. Well, no,
Why
you
would
get them before
Iran?
they get you.
Would you say?
You have to. This is what Doctor Strangelove, where you launch, and they're so close. So if Iran's got 3 or 4 nukes, and the Israelis are sitting there going, we got to keep an eye on this. We don't know when they're coming, and if they do launch them, or get about ready, they get intel. Their top spy over there says, they're gonna launch tomorrow. Just to let you know, they're launching tomorrow. What's Israel gonna do? They're gonna launch first.
No. What I'm saying is, why would Iran
No,
launch
not why.
nukes?
They just get intel
No,
that they're
I'm
going to do it
asking you a legitimate question.
because
I
they
don't know
want to
why.
Armageddon. They're a death cult. They believe the
Okay. Well,
Armageddon and that
now
they're
let's
the.
talk about who's been swallowing propaganda
This is
left
their
and right.
religion.
This is their religion. That's what you believe. You think that
Yes, in
Islam,
death, and
Shia
that
Islam, is a death cult.
the one
That's
of the
interesting.
mullahs will come up out of the well. You haven't heard that one?
So you believe that Shia Islam is a death cult?
No, I believe that certain wacko ayatollahs, that the one that's currently in there, yeah,
What do
it's a
they
death
believe?
thing.
When you say
Not
death cult,
what
what does
they
that
believe,
mean?
what this guy believes.
Okay, what does this guy believe? What is a death cult? What do
I,
you think that he wants everyone to die?
he
You
wanted
genuinely
a
believe
nuke to
that?
use it. That's what I believe.
Why?
Because it's a death cult. Because he hates Israel.
So you see how you're using circular logic and you're
Not
not pointing to
circular. It's
any
just
bit
you
of
asked me and
evidence?
I
You are.
told you.
You're saying that they want to do it because it's a death
What
cult,
they
and
the
because it's a
Ayatollah
death
name
cult, they
him
want to do it.
Ayatollah Khamenei.
Use him. I don't have to say they. Use him. Again, you're not pointing to anything of evidence. And you even admitted you don't watch the news, so I have no idea what this is even based on.
Well, I mean, I'm so very selective on it. I don't watch everybody's opinion on there. It's really not news. It's opinion.
Jay Gray's right.
Pavel, now we're at the heart of the matter. Jay Gray, his mind is set and closed, Tommy. I'm a simple man. A bus driver on the golf course.
Yeah, feelings instead of facts. I agree.
No conclusions. I wouldn't call it feelings. It's just
But all of your outrage
you've
is
seen
based on
this
feeling.
guy enough of times, and death chanting death to America, and I'm going to do this, and it's just. Well, now we're back to where we started. So let's move on.
It would be great to have Morty on, but he doesn't do panels, GD.
No, I don't want to do conversations. Conversations are great. I mean, one-on-one. It would be great to have Morty on. Well, Morty's got his own show. He was on last night. And he had, who did he have on?
He had a spring
fajita.
Yeah,
that's what I call
fajita.
him.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there was somebody else. Dr. Bob's Nightmare.
Oh,
What that
I don't
bird?
really
There
know
was
who
a
that
bird
is.
that just flew up. It's fun living here. There was some mockingbirds that have a nest in the hedge. Because I was out there pulling some weeds, and they were really being noisy. Because I think I know they have a nest there. And then when a hawk lands on top of my house, and I can see it from the lanai, they'll dive bomb it, get it out of here.
This is what I don't understand. Justin Ford says that they're nihilistic. That doesn't even make sense here, Justin. Nihilistic, the belief in nothing, right? They have
No. Nihilism. They're death. We're gonna
death. Okay.
the
You
thing will
keep
rise
using
up out
those
of the
scare
well. One of the
tactics.
prophet or something will rise.
They've never said that. That's not based on
Well,
anything.
that is their religion. This is the
If that was true, why haven't they done anything to any of these countries?
they don't
in
have the
30
bomb
years?
yet. They want the bomb.
So they can only attack with nukes. That's it. That's interesting.
Well, that's the most effective, right?
Well, yeah, it's not the only
Well, they
thing.
do
and they have
terrorism.
plenty
They
of other
do all the
technology.
other stuff. They have the proxies all over the world doing stuff.
Do you even know what those proxies do? Why they exist?
Yeah, they kill people. They destroy
No,
buildings.
they don't just kill people for the sake
They
of
destroy
killing
shipping
people.
lanes. They cause mayhem.
Do
Yes.
you not see any distinction at all between them
A bad actor. I have labeled
and
them a bad
Al-Qaeda?
actor.
Between them and Al-Qaeda, do you see any distinction at all? No.
Well, of
The
course,
answer is no.
there is. Well,
What is
the Al
it?
Qaeda, they
What is
didn't have a country like Iran's got resources. And that's the reason we had sanctions. and
Al-Qaeda
everything
actually
else.
did have a lot of state sponsors, including America at one point.
Pavel, this is a dinner theater. Let's remind everyone this is a dinner theater conversation. Justin Ford's Iran is led by a caliphate that is nihilistic. Israel is all about survival.
Yeah, all about
Yeah, they sure
survival.
did cause a problem moving there. If they would have gone to San Diego, if Israel would have just taken, just think if they would have been, everybody moved to California.
You'd give them
instead of-
California?
How great! I mean, they
That
they
would be
lead the
good.
world in tech, don't they? Israel, they're very big in tech.
Some tech, yeah.
So, what's your goal? What are you driving? You don't drive that car, do you? Do you have a?
No, I drive an Audi.
An Audi. What? A
A4 top trim.
A4 all-wheel drive.
Yep.
Is that stick shift?
Nope.
A true automatic?
Yep.
Oh, great. Has it been in the repairs? How many miles on it?
10,000, I think.
10,000. So it's
No,
been in.
no, not even. Maybe now it could be around 10,000. Yeah.
You do
It's
all the
new. I bought it
service.
new.
You take it in for service and all that.
Yeah. Regular
Pretty
maintenance.
pricey.
No, not bad.
Okay. You interested in trading for a WRX? No. Now,
No.
isn't that a sharp-looking car for an old man?
It does look good for a Subaru, yeah.
I got the bike, not a bike rack, but I got the rails on top now. I just got to get the bike rack. 2020 limited.
Nice.
How about an organizer? You want me to mail you an organizer?
For what?
Look at this. Well, you can put your knives, your chapstick, you got your folding blades, you got your watch, you got your car keys, you got your wallet. Isn't that nice? I used to pick these up for like $9.99. Now they're $20. Now they're probably $30.
Pavel says that's the coolest old man car on the streams, Docs. I concur.
I had a woman open the door for me going into the fitness center. You talk
Yeah.
about, oh, that was the great. And not even the embarrassing. I thought, Lex, if you had any idea that you think you look young, that's gone. A woman, middle-aged woman, I think, was she middle-aged? I can't remember. Just the fact that she opened the door for me and let me go in. Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
She killed me. She killed me. You want me to send you a couple organizer trays? I got 10 of them in there. I got
I'm
rid of my
honestly
knife
good.
collection.
I don't use any of that stuff.
You know? Well, what do you do with your keys? You just lay them on the dresser?
I have a drawer.
A drawer? You just throw them in the drawer?
I have a specific drawer for keys.
But look how that organizer, that would look sharp in there, wouldn't it?
What are you going to put the organizer on top of the counter?
I have it right here off to the right. Yeah, off the kitchen here. Yeah, I do have it here. Got a
Russia
flashlight.
says the U.S. is clearly not interested in diplomacy.
Oh, there's only so much talk. You can't be diplomatic. You're always diplomatic, but you're not going to get anywhere with some countries.
But
Coolest
didn't we have
car,
a deal with Iran? Didn't we have a deal? Yes.
If we did, it was a bad deal.
Why?
Coolest old man on the stream with Docs. The Schofield Bible? I've never heard of the Schofield Bible. I'm a King James Version man. I've never heard of the Schofield Bible.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
What about
I don't know much about it, but I've heard of it.
Have you heard of the Book of Mormon?
You trying to convert me?
No. Well, I'm not. Oh, I think the funniest thing they said when I first was around, they said, oh, he's a fundamentalist Mormon. I go, oh, man, that's wrong. Schofield Bible, let's see, what is this? Reference Bible. The Schofield Reference Bible is a widely circulated study Bible, edited. The King James, when they edit it, not translating. That's not the word. The interpretation. They're trying to tell you the interpretation because they don't understand it. You don't need that. Go to the King James. Mookie in the House of Horror.
Mookie's awesome. Great guy.
Morty, Docs as an organizer for the organizer. No, I've stacked them in the den, but I think it's a great little item, don't you think?
It's unnecessary.
Why you're giving a Morty sigh there? Like, oh my God! Like, isn't that cool? I think that's cool. Of course, I put the knives back in the glass there, but I don't. But I do have the wallet. I got my glasses, my keychain, my wallet, a flashlight, some pens, and a chapstick. Perfect. I'll send it to you. Now, hey, Morty, I'll send you a couple of those. That would be a great birthday gift for, a gentleman. But he'll deny. He won't want it. AD Never Calling. We got Justin Forge, Mookie. Listen to Tommy. You brought all these people over here. Jay Gracewater, Pavel, GD, Morty, Bill West. Bill West, feelings instead of facts. Well,
I
gotta go with your gut sometime.
Not always. And not your gut.
If I had to pick one or the other, yeah, you got to feel your feelings. Doesn't mean you act on them.
Yeah. Steve.
You can love that girl, but you don't have to marry her. Thank you, but not needed. See, I told you. What would Steve, the breaking news guy, say about Tommy? Who's Steve?
Angelic had a guy he was watching when we were talking. He had it on in the background, and his name was Steve. And he would disappear. He was making a shitload of money in super chats. It was nuts. He had 40,000 viewers, and he would
Steve
disappear.
or Angelic Silly?
Steve.
Oh.
And but we were watching his content, and he would just sit there, not know anything, gave no analysis. He would leave for lunch, leave to take a piss, and he'd come back and he would show us the same 3 cameras. And most of the time, what he was showing us was totally, I would argue fraud, but it was showing something that was not the real story.
And he's getting super chats galore?
Oh, he was making an insane amount.
Mookie,
it's called Agenda Free TV.
Agenda free. In other words, he doesn't give any opinion or nothing. Or
Nothing. It was literally just him standing there.
That's not a bad idea. Hey, watch Nicholas if you're listening. You know, if you want to make some money. Agenda free TV news. I signed up for One America News Network, but I thought, it's just more the same stuff.
Did you?
So I may cancel that. That's like only $5 a month, but it's live.
Do you watch it?
I turn it on and then I realize I don't want to watch it.
That's a waste of money.
Yeah, it is, because I'll search. In fact, when they gave Hegseth was giving the Department of Defense news conference, I looked around. I don't like watching, Forbes or these others. So they have a DoD, Department of Defense YouTube channel, so I went to that one. And then the reporters started asking like ridiculous questions, so I didn't listen to that. I will listen to the questions that Trump. I love to watch Trump handle them. He slices and dices them. I just love it. All right, Tommy, how long you been on now? You've been on there about an hour, haven't you?
I believe so.
All right, you wanna leave on a high note now, or
You can do whatever you want.
you want me to bring? You want it? Well, I don't know.
I don't care what you do.
You want me
It's
to
your
bring
show.
Morty on? You can talk to Morty, and I'll take a piss.
I don't
I'll
think
listen.
Crappy would hop on. I do. I like talking to Crappy though.
Okay, but you're not up. You're up late though, right? You don't stay up late. Like are you
Not
on the
usually. Last night I did. Yeah, East Coast.
East Coast, yeah. Because the only time I can catch Morty is when I get up like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Yeah, he is up very late for us. Yeah.
Morty, you want to hop on and have it out with Tommy? I won't say a word, but just don't get a strike. I don't want a strike. I played some music from the approved YouTube music you can download, but then I see copyright.
Yeah.
And what it is if you it's not a strike, but if you get monetized, you got to pay him some money. And like, oh, really? No, good. I'm not monetized. But it wasn't a strike. It was something else.
No, you don't pay them money. What happens is the people that watch, and if they get an ad, that revenue goes to them and not you. But you don't pay them.
All of it, or a portion of it?
It depends on what you used. But you don't pay it out of your own pocket.
Because I know what I hate, because I get clips and there's some music in the background, and I go, why would you put music? Just give me the news. So I play it, and then I see copyright, and I go, I'll bet that's from that clip. And it's not. It was from my opening song, my opening jingles that YouTube says these are authorized. These are good. Yeah, they get the money, or some portion of it, but I'm not monetized, so I guess that's saving me.
Do you think America has gone downhill since you grew
Look at
up?
that. Morty's starting up his channel now. Just watching, no talking. Starting now. Oh, no, he didn't want to even comment.
No, he's saying he's just not going to talk. Yeah.
Okay. And believe me, he knows how to talk. You watch Seinfeld, right?
Oh, yeah. Great show.
He's the long talker. He hates that because it sticks. A lot of
Seinfeld
money
was
in
great.
those jingles, says Mookie. Well, not, you know what I'm saying, that opening music stuff that I play. Because I've been trying to get, usually if I'll get what I really liked were the music where they blend them together, the rock bands. They take 2 rock bands and put them together. And I'll play those. I'll actually make that and then run it through, and they'll approve it. No problems. And then until I play it on the channel, then there's a problem. So I stopped that altogether. So I'll only do the approved music. You want to take over for a minute while I hit the?
Not really.
You want to leave then?
I don't care. What are you going to end it soon?
No, well, I may just go through all the chats.
All right, go for it.
Top to bottom after I hit the restroom. So
Yeah.
it's all right. So hang out and take over. Now, if I go on mute, you can still talk, right? And
No,
you can still,
I
they
get
can
muted
still hear you.
immediately.
All right, so I'm going to go on mute. Okay,
Right. Nice and quick.
Let's start at the top. Well, it's just the guest room, bathroom there. Let's go all the way to the top. All the way to the top.
All the way to
Acquired
the top.
taste. Yeah. Acquired taste. Spiritually centered in this world. You'd better be. Today, no subscription needed for. Let's see. You don't need to see mine. Acquired taste. Okay. No golfers. Acquired taste. Now he had some news. Let's see. We covered that. You know, let's see. Acquired taste. Will Mike the Snake appear? He never contacted me. I had a thumbnail ready to go, too. No Wawa. Let's see. Okay. Acquired taste. Now, I'm not the only one that takes care of business. By the way, I had to eliminate 2 groundhogs digging underneath my foundation. Of course, I congratulated him, said, nice. And he used traps. Okay, going down. Tommy, what's the latest, Docs? Well, let's see. The latest is Watch Nicholas is demonetized. He's has a beef with Curly, but he's at war with TW. No, he has a beef with. Excuse me. He has a beef with. Well, yeah, he has a beef with Curly, but he also has a beef with OC.
Who do you think's in the right?
on which beef?
Any of them, all of them.
Well, okay. The beef, he's at fault. Watch Nichols is at fault with TW because he initiated it. He gave a recovering, quote unquote, alcoholic money, and there's strings attached to the money. There was a condition. You can't do that. You send
Forget
money
about the
to
money.
anybody, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
gift.
Forget
If he
about the
wants to-
money, though.
Huh?
What do you think about the email that Nick received of his mom and, suggested
Oh, well, that's
comments?
totally out of line. But again, you wouldn't have got that if you didn't send him the money and then start complaining about it. That would have never happened. So it all comes back to him.
Okay.
All of it. You can't control. He's he's got issues. He's got recovery, and he's not. You give him money, and then he didn't do it. Then okay, it's a gift.
So you
Just relax.
blame Nick.
Well, it's not a question of. It's a question of responsibility. He started it because he had to interact with him. He had here's some money, but you got to buy the Chromebook. And then go rag on him for not buying the Chromebook. No, this is who he is. When you give money on YouTube anywhere, it's a gift. They're not.
I don't think he really cares too much about the money though right now. I think he's made peace with that. I think it's the photos.
Okay, but it would never have happened if he wouldn't have started with the money.
Yeah, but when Iran gets nukes, it would have never happened if we didn't
Well,
strike.
let's don't bring in the Ayatollah in this. Who Happy Meal? I don't think he's here. What's the latest, dogs? Okay. Tommy, U.S. struck Iran, and Nick got partially damaged out of this. Okay, let's keep you and me out of this. Coming down. You brought a lot of people over here.
I try.
Gampers. What time does the show start? Well, I just play music. Yes, Floodland. If Mike the Snake rehomes himself, would you accept him here as a guest? Yeah, we gave him 20 minutes. I don't know. I don't like park benchers. I mean, you're not a park bencher because you're participating. But just to have 3 or 4 people on when only 2 are talking, no, I'm not a fan of that.
What do you think of Mike in general?
Well, I can't listen to his wanderings, and then he's got some health issues. I guess he's got diabetes, but he had that when he had a leg problem when he was in San Francisco visiting Archie. He's got to really watch that blood sugar. You got to really keep an eye on that.
I like Mike a lot. Good guy.
Well, then that's a judgment. If you call him a good guy, you're judging him.
I'm judging him. Yeah. Yeah. I think you need to make judgments.
We do every day, every day. There you go. Pavel's got it. He's almost got it. Never dance with a No, it's never, ever dance with a narcissist. Do you really have to? You have to get Google's attention before they strike you
Let's say they did. Who's your top 3 suspects?
on Watch Nicholas. That would be, I guess, OC.
OC number 1.
And then TW, if he's, I'll tell you one that's probably doing it to all of them, but I'll put that in the private thing.
Am I allowed to comment it or not?
Well, you think about it.
Okay, let's see the name. There's no way that he would do it. I'm kidding.
Oh, he does so much stuff. You have no idea what he's doing.
Can I say
I'm
it?
telling you.
Am I allowed to?
Go ahead.
Okay. Docs thinks that looks report is number 3.
On almost anything. I keep getting these things on the DMV. Send money now. We're going to take it. I'm thinking, this guy. And there's another one. What's another one I've been getting? Just got one. The UPS. They want information from a United States Postal Office. And I look at the text and it's got like 2 other people involved in it. So somebody's up to no good. I'm just saying, if anybody's up to no good, I'm not case by. It's that guy. He has a history.
I'm glad I'm asking you these follow-up questions. This is good.
History of that.
Okay.
Let's see. What are we up to? This is just small talk. I'm working my way down. Pavel. This was interesting. Docs, my only success in a perpetual war with lawn moles has been with the Gopher Hawk brand of traps. There's moles, voles, and gophers. And one of them eats insects and grubs and everything, and I can't remember which one it was. The other one are vegetarian. Pasta, live life. It's going way too fast anymore. Yeah. Do you believe in an afterlife there, Tommy?
No.
Not at all? This is it?
If I had to guess, yeah.
Okay, let me change the question. Something of you continues. Not your personal ego, but something else goes.
Why? What makes you think that?
Because I think when they read the Bible, eternal life. It's not. I don't think it's eternal personal ego life. It's something else.
But what's that based on?
What's that?
What's that based on?
It's based on
Nothing.
the Buddha. It's based on
Buddha?
world religions. It's based on.
But I thought you're against world religions.
Well, not. There's. It's based on. There's people that start that. There's truth in. You got to dig for it. So it is Sunday. So, and the rabbi of the New Testament. You have eternal life, but people think, oh, I'm gonna be golfing somewhere else when no, I don't think that's what it is. But I do believe. I believe something goes on. I end, but that's fine. Shot at something else.
So
Okay,
not based
going
on anything, just faith.
Well, no, knowledge. Knowledge, not faith. Faith, knowledge. And I had an interesting talk with a guy up at Wawa. He was a retired Air Force guy, but he's in his 80s. And according to him, and I sat down at this table. There was 2 guys, and I sat down.
You have tables in your Wawa?
Outside.
Okay.
They're outside. They're permanently, they're metal and they're, not bolted. They're welded right there. So, and I said, I just want to do a quick poll. I said, good morning, gentlemen. Just a quick poll. What do you think about this UAPs? And do you know there was a congressional hearing? And then one guy said, well, I got to go. But he talked to me for a little bit. But I said, what about these pilots? But his thing is, if two people don't see it, it doesn't exist. So it's kind of like if you have a spiritual experience, but you're the only one that had it. Did it happen?
Not if
So
you're
I
schizophrenic.
asked him. I said, if you're an airline pilot and you're cruising along and there's a UAP off to the left, everybody's asleep. You're the only one that saw it. Did it happen? Now, do you have knowledge now of UAPs? See, I think you do.
You might not.
So if you have a spiritual experience of some higher inner power, then I have knowledge. So it makes things a lot easier. It's a lot more relaxing.
Schizophrenics have knowledge then if they experience that?
Say that again?
Just schizophrenics who experience that.
No, I'm not taking. Do I sound like a schizophrenic?
Not you, but in general.
Well, they may be tapping into things. They may be experiencing it. I guess that's possible. You know,
but then we can't really prove this. This would be entirely subjective.
Forget the proof. I don't care if you believe or anybody else. The proof is I know. So if I have knowledge, I know. So whether you believe it or not, that's okay. When I go to my,
Well, how do you define knowledge? Because if all you have are ideas, that doesn't mean
it's not an idea. So you experience something. You experience, you have a spiritual awakening of it's visual or audio.
So you trust your five senses 100%?
No, this is an inner sense. No, this is inner mind stuff. This is
your sixth sense.
No, this is inner sight, inner hearing, inner sight.
Well, hearing is one of the five.
No. I'm not talking about physical hearing. This is it's not from a sound wave that hits your ear. It's it comes from somewhere else. Within you, yet infinitely beyond you. So if you have these experiences, then you have knowledge. You go, oh, there is something other than what I'm looking out the window.
If you can't trust your perception, though, 100% of the time, why can you trust this one?
100%. Because I had it a couple times. So it's not that I trust, but I experienced it. So now I have knowledge. I don't have to guess. I don't have to have faith. Does that make sense?
I think I know what you're saying, yeah.
But people talk themselves out of it. Well, that's not possible. I was one of those. But at one point I wanted to know, and I pursued it. I wanted to know, and I pursued it. And then and then the night before I went to bed, I said, okay, this is not working. I give up. Boom. Before I woke up, boom, there it was.
Boom.
Holy shit.
Like an Iranian nuclear strike. Boom.
No, like I'm seeing this, and I go, I wasn't scared.
The mushroom cloud.
I just wanted to let it go, and then it just went away.
Yes.
I go, holy shit, there is something to this. And why did I receive it then? Because I gave up. He who loses himself finds himself. So I gave up, and then I was ready. Now, the infinite intelligence or the powers that be, they determine that. You may not even want to know.
It's a they.
Well, no, I don't know what it is.
Well, you used the term they. So
okay, but there's no other terms for it. You want to call it God, you want to call it...
You could have called it
infinite intelligence, you want to call it spirituality, infinite intelligence.
But I thought you have the knowledge. I thought you knew.
Well, no, it's not something in the book. But when you experience an event, now you know.
Why can't you describe it?
Well, I could, but then I get ridiculed. I don't want to do that.
But what if you're a prophet?
I'm not a prophet.
Okay.
Well, even a prophet, you can't. I'm sure I got new comments now, but I don't want to look at them. Now, this was a strange one. I put up my own comment. It says I was spamming.
That's funny.
Justin Forge is here. He's up in northern Canada. And Jake,
what do you think of Canada?
It's a mess. They got another liberal government in there, and Trump is not the one that caused the problem. It's the liberalism up there. and they don't want to, the money is right under their feet, in Alberta, and they don't, no pipelines, no, okay, well, how are you going to pay for everything?
Don't we get our oil from them, though?
We get some oil, but
I think we get
we
most of it
lead
from them.
the world in potential of oil underneath. Uh-oh. I lost Tommy, ladies and gentlemen. Tommy, come back. That wasn't me. He got disconnected. See those flowers right there in the middle? Those are rain lilies. Now, Elgdorf does not like Tommy. I don't want to put that up there. Going through, let's see, pasta. Oh, this is one I missed. Let's see. Gampers was a communist coup facilitated by the Islamists that resulted in present-day Iran. And Tommy's back.
I misclicked. That was my fault.
Floodland, Dmitry Medvedev just said there are many countries willing to give Iran nuclear warheads now.
Yeah, I read that.
He's a former president of Russia. Okay, let him try. Let him try. You think the intelligence agencies, you think you can do that undercover?
Why does it have to be undercover? If they moved nuclear warheads there, what would we do? What could we do? It's a
You would
deterrent
intercept
strategy.
them before you intercept them before you even
can
get
just
there. Well, you
say
let
we're
them
gonna
know,
bomb nukes,
or you
we're gonna bomb
end all
nukes.
trade with them and say, okay,
I
no,
don't
it
think
just
we
wouldn't
trade
happen.
too much
It wouldn't
with them.
happen.
I don't
It
think
would
we
not
trade too
happen.
much with them.
And it's just not going to happen. Morty just woke up pushing the coffee. What did I click into here? I don't. Tommy was gracious enough to come on. I was just playing music. I was hanging out. It's kind of like the day after. I mean, you remember kind of where you were when they bombed. I mean, it was like that was a big deal. Floodland, and I'm sure Tommy agrees. The preemptive attacks are nuts.
Of course they are.
Pavel, North Korea is the example of develop a nuke and they'll leave you alone. But the Kims also don't have. But the Kims also do not have apocalyptic end-time worldview. So, see, Pavel knows that.
Yeah, I don't think Iran does either.
And Morty, he's going Tommy. He doesn't like what
I'm not
he's
surprised
hearing.
by that.
Well, now this is you touched on that. I mean, it's possible. You're saying.
Anal probing.
Well, no, he's just joking. But as far as the UAP, non-human intelligence,
I
flying
don't
saucers,
really put myself in those discussions.
I'm not
too
into
often.
that. There's entire shows on this stuff. I mean, there's like a following. I mean, this is.
I
all
think
they're
Baba
into.
has a show on it. Yeah.
And that's a. I think they are there, but I'm not gonna. I mean, they're not. I don't think they're here to teach us anything. Just falling part of the strike. Really, Pavel, there was the satellite imagery of a couple dozen semi-trucks at Fordo just prior to the strike.
Yep.
I'm sure some equipment and material was moved out. Oh, I don't know.
Of course.
But
No buts.
no buts. But
No buts. Don't use that word.
The Israelis, they're flying. once the strike was over, they go back in. They're still looking.
Hey, they're not
I
on the
watch
ground
some of those
They're not on the
satellite
ground.
stuff. They have to blur some of them out, but the ones they don't blur, you see guys that are just right there working on something, and then they're just obliterated.
Those are just human beings, right?
Well, not just, but now listen, this is what we're into. This is the world we live in. Really, I don't know. Floodland. Israel can internally fall as well. Really. No, a country can still fail internally. USSR. Yeah, we could have done that easily with Kamala. Yeah, we can spend our way right into it.
They can definitely fall internally. That's 100% right. But
Pavel,
with
Lindsey
US nukes,
Graham.
it's different.
What about Lindsey Graham?
He's
I'm not
a piece of shit.
but He's what?
He's a piece of shit.
Okay.
No, he's disgusting.
Hey, let me ask you: is this big beautiful bill going to pass?
Do you think it's a big, beautiful bill?
Uh oh. It's all we got.
Mm. I don't really know. There's a lot of internal opposition in the Republican Party now.
Morty dogs. Thank heavens. Okay, we got that. Okay, we're catching up here. Gildan. Oh, no, that's not nice. Negotiate then what? Well, that's true. You can only do so much talking while they're building the nuke when you've told them they can't have a nuke. Oh, who are we? Says Tommy. Well, that's what it is.
It's not even just so much who are we. It's a matter of being realistic and not thinking that we just can totally control everything around us, which is how we've led to all these issues in the world. Iran wouldn't. You want to talk about? This is a perfect analogy. You said that this is Nick's fault. Ultimately, what happened with the TW pictures because he created it. He started it all by getting involved with an ex. I don't know. What did you say? Alcoholic or whatever, right? Okay.
Right.
The
With this
only
individual.
reason that that regime is in Iran is because of us. That's the only reason. So isn't that our
Well, no.
fault then, by your logic?
Wait a
Yes.
second. We're the only reason that the Ayatollah's in power? Is that what
We're
you
the
mean?
only reason that they moved so far right because we put in people that sold out
Ayatollah
the
is far
Iranians.
right?
Yeah, he's a hardliner. That's the whole fucking point.
Well, he was the back. You got to go back to the Shah, and then
No,
that
you
was
have to
back.
go before the Shah. You have to go before the Shah because the Shah isn't who we installed him, but that wasn't the first thing we did. We got rid of Mossadegh in 1953. We meddled in their democratically elected process. And remember, we're all about
Okay,
democracy.
well, I mean that was the thing, and that then
Well,
they
it
were
was what
all,
we did. So that
and
was the
that's when the
first
cell phone
part.
came on, and they were all planning this to take it back. But
So by your
if you were to
logic,
go to the people right now
it's
and they
our
could
fault.
vote in
Uh,
secret,
uh,
I'll bet they
if
missed the Shah. Don't
if
you think
Nick,
they missed the Shah?
I think they missed Mossadegh.
And he was before the Shah.
He was the democratically elected leader that we got rid of
That we got rid of. What was
because
his?
he
Well,
was
why did we have a problem
nationalizing
with him?
because he was nationalizing the industries for his own people instead of leaving it in the Western hands,
Well,
the
that's
oil
socialism,
companies.
right?
No,
He's a
that's
socialist. When you
no.
nationalize, like Venezuela, you grab stuff.
The reason that they had to nationalize it is because before then, all of those countries were totally owned and controlled by the West, and we were
By the oil
taking their
companies?
resources. Yeah, the oil industry there
Okay.
was owned and controlled by the West because we dictated that, just like we owned South America and all these other countries at that time. And they believed in self determination and having their resources for themselves, just like what we have for our own country. So that's legitimate. If you don't think that, then you're just an
Well, right, but
unserious
our
person.
country, we believe in capitalism, right? A
So
form
we
of
believe
capitalism.
in financial ownership of every other country's
We believe in
resources.
private property, right? You got to have private property.
So do you
Anyway,
understand that America is only 50 states? Do you understand that, right? You understand that these are other countries that exist in the world. This isn't our playground and America is the sole world. You know that, right? It sounds common sense, but your worldview seems to think that we
well,
own
well,
everything.
my worldview is capitalism has helped more people than any other system. We like to
Okay.
kind of promote that, right? Don't we?
Well, is it promoting it if we get rid of democracies and then we
No,
own
no,
all
I
of
don't.
the resources? Is that really legitimate? Are you
No,
defending
I
that?
don't know if I believe all. The CIA has that kind of power, and they do
You
this and
don't
they do
think that
that.
they have regime
There's a
changed about
boogeyman out
100
there,
countries?
the
Not a
CIA.
boogeyman. It's what we've done. This is all documented. All you have to do is open a book.
Okay, well let's continue. Justin Forge, Tommy, given we all hear the same fog of war propaganda from both sides, what unique intel are you assessing that leads you to believe you are solely correct? Do not say common sense. We all have that.
That's a good comment. I agree with you, Justin. The fog of war propaganda, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But the
Morty
first
likes
thing,
this. Yeah, okay, go. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
The first thing that you have to look at when it comes to propaganda is what the state itself is saying. Both states, but ultimately our worldview, what Docs is saying, what Morty believes, when you look at Fox News, whether it's Levin, Hannity, even Trump himself, they're pushing a US centric view. I'm not saying we should take Iran's view. I'm saying we should look at everything that we can and look at what actually makes sense. So we all agree, I think everyone in this chat agrees, that Iran should not have a nuke. They're a bad government. They've done bad things. I wouldn't say death cult, but even if they were or weren't, they're still bad and they shouldn't have it regardless. But you need to take that moral thinking and put it to the side and say, well, wait a second. If we were Iran, if I was the national advisor to the Iranian president, I would say we need a nuke yesterday. We need to rush to get one because right now we're going to be invaded and attacked if we don't have that deterrence.
But the president is a
There's
token.
no buts. That's a factual statement.
The
I don't care
president
who you
doesn't have
are.
any sway. It's the Ayatollah
Of what? Of Iran? Yes.
of Iran. Yeah, the president
Exactly
doesn't
right.
make decisions in Iran. The Ayatollah does.
Exactly. You're right.
So he's not going to listen to people. He's going to go to his scriptures,
Okay.
isn't he? Isn't he?
No, he's not.
Morty says you got two everyday multimillionaires fighting it out. I need to push another coffee.
That's funny.
Well, okay. I did cross that. I think I still am. What's the S&P 500 at? If it stays at 6,000, I should be good.
You're back over $1 million?
No, two. No, multi.
2 million.
Multi
Whoa.
means two.
Multi.
Now, and it doesn't mean that means total assets. Assets minus liabilities. I'm debt
Yeah,
free.
so you're including the house, the cars, all that. I get it.
I don't include my knives or my computers.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
It's the home that I own and cash and then investments. Mutual
Your
funds.
crypto. Yeah.
No
I'm
crypto.
kidding.
No gold, no crypto.
No gold.
No mechanical watches,
Ah.
and certainly no Rolex.
You strike me as someone who would be hoarding gold, so that's interesting.
No. I did have some maple leaves at one time. And why am I holding this?
Okay,
And
of course.
no.
There you go.
Pavel thought that was funny. A streaming, let's see, what a streaming, Floodland, a streaming that like money, what a shock. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Not sure what that means. And here's Morty rejecting my birthday. I was going to give him a gift. Thank you for the knife, but there's nothing I could do with it. Sure, you could open a box with it. What do you mean you can't? There's nothing you can do with a knife? Come on. Sure you can. Put it in a drawer. Oh, really? Okay, Pasta says, there are no aliens. They're all from this world. See,
I need
some
to
of those
find world.
crafts are going at high speed and they do a 90-degree turn. If there was a human in there, the brain would be splattered inside the skull, wouldn't it? Inertia,
I think the problem is you're assuming that video, let's use the famous Tic Tac video that the military has put out. You're assuming that is a craft and that every other possibility has been ruled out, whether it was a reflection or something on the shield or anything else, right? So if you agree, if you say 100% certainty that is a craft, then you're right because the physics, that's not operating according to our
unless
laws
they've
of
overcome
physics.
that too, like they have gravity or cloaking, they disappear and reappear.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if it's a craft, you're right. But we first have to prove that that's a craft, and I don't think that's been done.
Well, the ones that really they get the good view of, and you can see it's a disc, and it's and there's lights going around it, but they just go incredible speeds, and then they stop on a dime.
And you also have to, suppose
How
that
can
it's not
that
the
be
military.
from this world? Unless it's new technology.
Air fryer reviews. That's funny.
Floodland. Imagine if the first thing life in the galaxy sees of Earth is AC3 taking a shower. I'm doing it now. Morty Docs doesn't check all the chats during the show. He's the non-chat reader. Well, no, I have a guest on, and I have to concentrate on the. Oh, Gildan gives Crappy a medal for that. I have to.
That was when I was complimenting Crappy.
No, for the record, it's 2,500.
Yeah, it's not 20,000.
Okay.
That's Bear who came up with the 20K figure.
Bear. Boy, he really goes after Trump, but let's see.
And it's interesting, he used to be massively pro-Trump. I've talked to Bear all the time. I know his feelings on this.
Okay. I'm so kind of disappointed in him because when Mike was giving the finally going after Archie,
Arch, yeah.
and then everybody jumps on, and now Archie wins. He's got everybody back.
Mike
You
was
know?
never going to leave.
No,
So this was
but
never an uprising against AC3. This was simply Mike at his wit's end and having an explodes, which is funny and
it
entertaining.
was great.
Yeah.
If I was the producer of that show, but it was the 9-year-old, I would have just been Mike the Snake and Archie. That would have been it. And give them 20, 30 minutes together. That would have been great. And
Yeah,
then
but it became
Narkov's
more
on.
entertaining to have Bear on.
No,
No, I
Narc.
agree.
Well,
There was
first it
other
was
people
Narc.
who
He let
shouldn't have come
everybody on. It was terrible.
I don't know. I think that was one
Morty
of the better
Diner
shows.
Tommy said he bought a $2,500 pillow, then didn't like it and gave it away. Now, is that true?
I gave it to my mom.
Oh, well, that's not giving away. That's in the family. That's not really giving away. Lifestyle of the rich and famous. That upsets Morty. He's can barely get by. I haven't watched. Okay, we've read that one. Okay, we're catching up. We're catching up. Let's see, Argentine peso cannon is here. Okay, got that. Pavel, one nice thing about the Soviets, you didn't have to worry about them believing that bringing about the end of the earthly realm is inevitable and desirable. That's the death
There were
cult.
people pushing that at the time, though. That they're a godless nation, nihilistic. That's what we were pushing.
It was pretty cool. Like during when there was that glasnost, remember that in the 80s? The military opened up all their files on the UFOs, and some of the journalists went over there. Who am I thinking of? The one in Las Vegas. What's his name? He's the one that has the Area 51 guy on. I can't think. Now I got to find it.
Art Bell.
Oh no, he had some people on too. I found
Area
some of those
51.
early ones,
Yeah.
and that was really interesting. George Knapp.
Art was radio.
Art died. He died a young man. He was like only 60.
Did he?
Yeah, he retired. He was just going to go from his home, but he had. They were talking about, if Art Bell would be alive today. Now you got congressional hearings on it, and it used to be just for late night talk. No, this is all silly. No, it's not so silly anymore.
Yeah, it was a joke. Yeah.
It was a joke. Well, no, he didn't. Pavel, I couldn't help but notice Trump had to bring religious rhetoric into his announcement yesterday, too. He said, God bless America, God bless Israel.
Israel, God bless
God
the
bless-
Middle East.
Oh, did he say Middle East, too?
Yes, he did. He said that first.
Okay, I don't think that's rhetoric. Jay Graysweater, breaking news, Vice President of Iran was recently found to be a spy. They were feeding him fake info at the end. Jay Graysweater, don't forget Docs. His mind is set and closed, Tommy.
That's true.
Well, I got my opinion. I mean, I still think it's a good thing. No, we're at the heart of the matter. Feelings instead of facts. Morty on. Morty declined the offer, GD, to come on. Christianity, okay, but I'm not a proponent of that. And I have a handyman who's, he's a believer. I'm a believer, if you want to put me in that camp, but he's so worried about, they read the, what's the book at the very end? The Book of Revelation. Don't be bothered with that. And he wants to know if it's just some stuff about his mom. It's like, it's kind of sad. Pavel, Christianity has a similar end times-ish tautology, whatever that is. We just doubt that our leadership believes it literally. Well, I believe in an end time. I'm going to have an end time. I'm
He's talking
temporary.
about like, Armageddon and,
Yeah, it's
second
not.
coming and all that.
If it happens, it happens, and it's the Bible contains a lot of stuff.
His point is that it isn't just Muslims that have those beliefs. It's the Abrahamic religions, all three of them. The difference is
Right.
we
And
think that secularism is dominated to the point where our leaders don't fundamentally believe that. It's more of an allegorical story.
I never push a religion. I say forget religion. Find God. Search for God. What is he saying? Sata anti-stream?
Soda stream.
Old man, I am an. Oh, I tell you what. When that woman opened the door for me, that shocked me. I looked that
People don't
bad.
open the door for you?
Not when I was younger. No, I opened the door, and then the younger guys, they used to they would open the door for me, and I'd be like, "What are you, a smart ass?" No, I'm older, but I don't see myself that old. So when a woman opens it, I'm like, oh my God, I am a grandpa. I have no idea. I've never heard of this Scofield Bible. I don't read it. I'm only interested in the King James version. That the original Bible, it was in Greek, and it was translated, and it's good enough for me. You don't have to change the text. You have to change your thinking in order to understand the text. Mookie, the horror. I would love to send you an organizer, Morty, but you don't want it. You got nothing to organize. You got nothing to put it in. Tommy's got lots of stuff. He got diamonds and rings and watches. He could use one of those organizers. Jay Gray, line that drawer with a Faraday cage. I always wondered if I get in the bird cage during an electrical storm that I'd be safe, but the top is fabric, canvas, so I don't think so. Jay Gray sort of, what has love got to do with it? Love actually has to do with everything. Gift refusal. Oh, Pavel. I enjoy the simmering struggle of gift refusal between Morty and Doc. In some cultures, that's really an insult. When you don't accept a gift, that some cultures, that would be war. That would be terrible. But why do I keep, I organizer, I got a knife, but I can't, nothing, he wants $20,000, but that's not going to happen. Tommy, this is Tommy talking to Jay Gray. Do you think he wants to hear, do you think I want to hear that if they lose, they strike everyone?
He's talking about the Samson option. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, but essentially it is the belief, and there is some debate about how real it is or how set in stone it is. And people argue that the first instance that the Samson option was activated was when they went to Nixon and said, hey, if you don't come in to assist us, this is 1973 Yom Kippur War, we will strike with nukes. It's the stated belief that if Israel
Yom Kippur War, that was 70. Did they have weapons
73.
then? When do you think they got
They stole the nukes from us in I believe it was the 60s. Could have been 50s.
When you say they stole the nukes from, you mean the technology?
They stole the nuclear material from us.
They stole the uranium. I barely remember that. The enriched uranium.
It was called the Apollo affair. But the Samson option is
allegedly. I would say allegedly.
It's not alleged, but let's say that Israel is losing. The Samson option is that they will launch nukes at the end. If they can't be around, they're going to strike other people. You might see that that's.
In other words, if we can't become a state, then we're going to take it out on everybody.
Effectively, that's what the Samson option. There's Wikipedia pages, there's articles about it. You can read it and determine its validity yourself. But that is what the Samson option is.
Acquired taste, groundhog hurt continues. They come back? I thought you got rid of them. You didn't get all of them. Jay Gray Docs, have you ever square dance? I think so. They used to have a Western bar. Wouldn't call it square dancing. No, I don't. Line dancing, yes, but that's not the same as square dancing. Line dancing is fun. And then individual, like a Western bar, there's no line dancing. You just dance with a girl, you know. Mookie, Doc's not down with diabetes. What do you mean? What does that mean?
That was when you were talking about Mike.
And my dad was an adult onset diabetic, but he lost weight and it disappeared. But I would say Mike's a little heavy. He could lose some weight. Jay Gracer, the soul, the all, and the everything, the absolute. There's only but one life in this entire universe. You are just an expression, an extension of that life. Spiritual life. Bam, what is this? Bum, 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 bum-a-ran. Bum, 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 bum-bum-a-ran.
That's the song you've been listening to.
Moolah, this is fun, says Tommy, the soul. Jay Gray, the soul stores everything forever, evermore, everywhere. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and it shall be given unto you. Knock and it shall. And I'm not joking about that. There is something that we don't understand. You can never understand. You can experience it. Morty, I think I need a 6-pack of Bone Shaker. What is that, a high-octane beer? What's a Bone Shaker? Oh, let's look it up.
I don't drink.
You don't drink at all? Never had a sip?
No, I have. No. I don't really drink, though. I never liked the taste of it. I thought it's kind of disgusting.
Well, I got into single malt.
I own them. Oh, you talk about collecting. I have bottles that are worth a lot, but I don't open them.
I'm going to finish that Johnny Walker Black, and I'm not going to buy another one. But it was Whiskey A Go-Go yesterday. I am allowed one drink every 2 weeks.
We talked about that before, yeah.
Bone Shaker. Oh, it's an IPA. Oh, that's here with my neighbor, Amsterdam. Bone Shaker. Let's see. What's the alcohol content? I'm sure my neighbor would know this. Accept all. Okay. Bone Shaker. Oh, have you seen this image? Let me get the image up here. It's not one I think I would buy. They make a High Life down here in Florida, which kind of citrusy. That I like that one. And let me close this. I want to get the alcohol content. Doesn't say. Oh, there it is.
Trump just talked about regime change. That's nice.
They can get up to like 6 or 9%. 9%, that's too much. Bone Shaker. Okay, Tommy Massey, close that. All right, here we go. Present, share screen. Now this is what Morty drinks. Allegedly, or he referred to.
Can't see it yet. Oh, there we go.
There it is. What kind of, you got a skeleton on a bicycle? A Bone Shaker.
That looks like shit.
Yeah, that's not something I would walk out with.
Those colors are terrible.
Yeah. Jay's Gray Sweater, they have new 12-packs, small cans. Oil is abiotic.
Trump just launched Kentucky MAGA, a super PAC solely devoted to ousting Thomas Massey.
Is he a Republican?
Yeah, he is.
But he's voting against everything.
He's the most America First person in Congress, I would say.
Well, come on.
He is.
You know, this reminds me of Aussie expat. He said, "Well, I
That's
didn't
an
vote
insult.
for." Well, no. Well, I'll tell you why. Because he said, "I didn't vote I didn't vote in the presidential election, because Trump wasn't, whatever, wasn't enough for him." And I'm thinking to myself, you got kids and you'd allow Kamala to get in there? That makes no sense to me.
I voted. Yeah.
So you can have your, ideas in that, but you got to vote. It's not on the menu.
I
His
think
version,
voting.
Tommy, not you, Tommy, but who's this guy's name again? The senator.
Thomas Massey.
Thomas Massey. Is is he a senator or a congressman?
Congress.
Congressman. So you can have your version of America first, but this is what's on the menu. You have to take it on the menu. And who's the other guy? Another one, Rand Paul, Docs and Tommy, this has to be politics, I'm guessing. New Jack City. Well, no, we talked about other things. Bricks are going to stick together. Bricks are going to... What's a brick? Bricks are going to stick together?
BRICS is that group of countries. What is it? Brazil, Russia. I think India's in there. China.
Really?
Yeah. You've never heard of BRICS, really?
No, they're aligned
Oh,
somehow?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to research that.
I'm surprised you never heard of that. Yeah, they're a lot of people think they rival America, so the petrodollar and things like that are on the way out because numerous other countries are now coming together solely to get rid of us as the dominant power.
They're scared of America's power.
Well, that's why moves like this, what we did in Iran, is also dangerous. Even if you don't believe other countries will get nukes, what it does is it pushes a lot of people away from America.
How about now? This is a good idea, not the air fryer, but what about a Tommy getting a channel? Tommy should get a channel.
Never.
Never?
Air fryers, that's funny.
Gildan, Mike the Snake personally designed every flying object, and he can tell us how it's done. Archie ran for cover, Jake Greer said.
Talking about the Mike the Snake thing.
Yeah, that was great. When he said, I'm sick of fucking you telling the brigade. Oh, that was great. And then everybody had to hop on, just like a wet blanket. NARC is a wet blanket. Oh, I didn't know that. Jay Graysweater. George Knapp is of Lebanese descent from Dearborn, Michigan. Really? Didn't know that. Morty Diner. Morty, search for a better pillow. Price is no object. Did you get a new pillow after the one you gave to your mother?
Nothing like the one I had. I love the current pillows I have. I think they predate that other pillow, though.
Was it like...
Too soft.
Did it have edges on it so your head would go down lower in the middle of it?
No, it's a down pillow, and down is soft. I like firmer, lower pillows.
Yeah, that's what I got. I spent, I thought it was pretty good, $50. Oh, I got the firmest mattress I've ever had. It was a $1,000 mattress, but you know what? It was worth it. And then the pillow was great, but sometimes I won't have the pillow. I'll just be laying flat on the mattress like a board.
Yeah.
Love it. For my back, anyway. Jay Graysweater, Schofield Bible is said to be the text used by the bloodthirsty. I want to be... No. I just want the truth. I want to know. I just wanted to know. There's Morty turning down my organizer. Zeppi, I don't think he's even a member. Israel forever, says Zeppi.
Mm-hmm.
No Israel, no Middle East. Now you do understand that, right, Tommy?
Well, Israel came about in 1948. I'm pretty sure the Middle East was there the whole time. So I don't know what that point means, but all right.
Why am I watching this? Says Morty. I could be out getting a shawarma.
That's a good point.
Is that Indian food?
It can be. I think it's more Greek, though.
Oh. Morty, this is keeping you out of bed. You got to learn how to get out of bed. Get out of bed and make the bed. Jay Grader, 7.1. See, again, we have to figure that out. But I'm not bothering.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Going full dictator. Now that's the Canadian in you talking. Jay Grace, Donald J. Trump going full dictator. Leadership.
I don't think he means dictator in the U.S. I think what he means is in the world, we're becoming the police force of the world again, which is a problem.
Oh. Bitcoin was invented by the CIA, says Bart Simpson.
Some people say it was the NSA.
I went into my attorney's office that he was part of we had the the company I work for, they would, you could, there was, you got a deal on setting up, was it a trust? It was setting up something.
Yeah.
Was it a trust? I don't think it was a trust. It wasn't, maybe it was. So anyway, I went in there and he had all these computers on the ground with all these fans. He was mining Bitcoin, right? At the time. All right, we're all caught up.
Caught up.
How's that?
He
3
is
hours.
treating Massey like a dictator would. That's true.
He's treating Massey like a dictator would. Well, he must need his vote on something, right? Is he holding something up?
No, he doesn't really need to vote. I mean, maybe on the big bill. I don't know about that, but no.
But he just
Massey numerous times has gone against Trump because, like him or not, whether you think he's doing the right thing, a lot of times he does do stuff that is not according to the norms, and a lot of people in Congress feel like they've been circumvented. I agree
They
with
want
you,
to be
though.
relevant, so they hold things up, and then now they're relevant, and that's what I don't like.
I think it's a challenge because I agree with you, and I'm sure Morty would agree with this, that the Congress is ineffective and weak, and they hold everything up, and they're fully corrupt. We agree with that. But getting rid of them inherently or circumventing them inherently means it's a less democratic process.
Well, by
That's the
getting
truth.
rid of them, if you open the eyes up to the people that vote for them, then that's fair.
Unfortunately, like you said, there's more Democrats, and that's unlikely to happen.
Oh, come on, little Dave, don't say that.
Morty
put
the
that up there.
liar. What's that about?
No, we don't want to. We don't want to put that up there.
I don't even know what he's talking about, though.
He's just going after Morty.
Morty didn't even say anything. What is he lying about getting shawarma?
Well, I don't know when like he says, I don't understand him. I don't understand his humor. I just don't get it.
I think I do.
So when he says I didn't get out of bed today, he's just being funny.
I think sometimes it's being played up. I don't think he's actually just sitting in bed 24/7, not doing anything, and he's fully depressed. I don't believe that at all.
Okay. All right. Well, did I show you my Mike the Snake thumbnail?
I don't think so.
I got to show you that. I was going to have him on. I had his thumbnail all ready to go.
That's funny.
Zeppy. Oh, well.
See,
a
this
little
is
rough.
why I don't even bother with Zeppy, because he's not intelligent and he has nothing to say.
Oh.
So this is irrelevant.
Let
But
me just
if that's what he
read
wants
it.
to
If people
believe,
are
though,
listening, Zeppy is saying, Trump just made America a much safer place. Tommy, you obviously hate America. I don't think he does. And Israel, it is very obvious. Huh? You need justification as to why Iran should not have nukes. Get the fuck out of here. What does that mean? Morty
funny.
bended Dave. Morty went after Dave, says GD. Right.
Did he really?
Well, little Dave says, yeah, he did. Then he lied and says he didn't. Morty, there's your show topic. 3 hour, 25 minutes, Sunday, the day after the strike that some believe made the world safer and others say not so fast.
True.
And that one, I don't know what. Zeppy has 4,700 employees. We got a big
He likes
time.
to consider himself a billionaire, but obviously he's deluded and insane, so he can say what he likes.
Was he got some big money there, huh? 4,700. Yeah, he's in big business or he's an investor?
Well, he claims that.
Oh. Has Zeppy ever been on a show before? Or he's just always in the comments?
No, he's been on the panel before. He never said anything interesting in terms of intelligence, but he did have a cool observatory style with a bunch of cameras. So that was interesting. That's the only interesting thing I think
is he
he's done
civil?
in 5 years.
Has he been? He's
Yeah,
not
he's
a
actually
narc
pretty
type.
good. He's pretty good on the panel. But when it comes to
okay.
this issue, he just has no relevance is nothing to add.
Here I'm
Trespassed
getting
from
another
the
of this.
diner. Morty said yes, he was trespassed. So that's true. He was removed.
Uh-oh, Morty for clarification. Let's document it here on the Doc's report. Morty's Diner, just checked. Yes, little Dave was trespassed from the diner. Uh-oh, maybe his shoes were dirty. Maybe he had too much to drink when he hit the...
Shoes were dirty.
Well, you don't want mud in the diner. These guys come in, they don't mud on their shoes, or he was drinking a little too much.
For what, Crappy? What happened? If you can say, if you want to say. If you
Morty's
don't, that's
Diner.
fine.
I'm actually picking up some subscribers lately. I don't know why. And then I lose them. I gain one and then lose two.
Do you
and
really?
Then yeah.
That's weird.
Oh,
Dave
I could
is
pick
saying
up
he
another
made
one
a,
today, which is good. So
Dave responded.
Dave responded. Let's see. Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well,
Dave.
that'll get you. That's it depends.
What kind of?
All right, well, little Dave, are you Jewish? Then you can get away with it. If it was halfway decent.
I think
joke.
there's a Seinfeld episode about that. Tim Watley, the dentist.
Denti. Well, then Jerry Seinfeld was on the Rich Eisen show, and he says, I could tell you a joke, but no, this is. I think Rich Eisen's Jewish, but I was telling another person a joke. I says, but you're not going to get it. And he goes, well, what was the joke?
I saw that. Yeah,
You remember that?
I saw the footage of that.
Yeah, it was two
Norm
Jewish business.
Macdonald.
Was it who?
Norm Macdonald was there too.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald. And okay, that was it. He says, but you won't get it. And I have actually been called a goy in Las Vegas, so because you're a goy, which
What?
means it's a Gentile, right?
I know what it means. Who called you that?
Just a coworker. He was. I think I had because I had like mayonnaise or something on my sandwich or something. And he's a goy, and I had to look it up. But anyway, so two Jewish businessmen come together and they say, "This." I forgot the joke. I don't want to ruin it. I'll have to go. You know what? I'll find the clip.
The joke was about saying.
No,
that,
let me find the clip and I'll
How's
put it on the air.
business going? And
Yeah,
then he
how's
says
business
it's been
going?
going good.
And one
And you can
Jew
tell
said,
they're not, because even if business was going good, they'd find something to complain about. It's an
right,
okay
you would never
joke.
hear this joke. Right.
But it's
and
not the greatest joke in the world.
No, that's true. Dave has three. Jake
Crappy
Ray,
says there are jokes, and then there are jokes.
Yes, there are jokes, then there are jokes. That's true. All right, 3 hours, 30 minutes. The Doc's report on a Sunday where you got a place to go, to hang out. I'm not here to make money. I'm here just to, why am I here? This is just a socialization for me, I guess. And I like the tech. Right? I mean, where can you go? I mean, this can go around the world on YouTube. Now, I should have streamed this one on X and Rumble also. I gave up on Kick because if StreamYard offers me a platform that's integrated, then I'll do it. But Kick, it was like, these are gamers and like I get 2 views. So I stopped doing that.
Nick is on Kick.
Oh, is he? He's on a lot of stuff. And just because StreamYard introduces something new, like where you can see the chats on the screen, nobody can read them. Why even have it up there? I mean, I could do that. I could, but I don't want to do that. Here, I just turned it on. I'm going to shut it off. So, is there a marriage in your future? You planning on getting married someday, some point in your life? You're going to have kids? And how?
Yeah.
And you're not 30 yet, right?
No.
Okay. Don't wait till you're when I hit 50, I knew no way. Didn't
That
even
was the
think it
end?
was never a goal of mine. Never a goal. The Argentine peso cannon. Keep going, Lex. This is your chance. No competition. Plus you rebels stream Caesar. I've done it in the past. I don't think he's on now, is he? No,
No.
there's no way.
It's
I'm
2
not doing
hours
6.
more.
There's no way. There's no way I can do that. Yeah, we're always going to have geopolitics. We're always going to have disagreements. We're going to have. We can't all get along. The globalist dream is once they get in charge, it'll all be straightened out. No, then it becomes complete, tyranny, and we have no freedoms, nothing. I feel bad for Canada, but you know what? They voted. They keep voting, putting them back in.
You're aware that the polls were going to be a conservative win until the tariffs.
Well, okay, but you can think
No
that
buts.
through, and then
No buts.
he spun it around.
No buts.
Oh, so we're blaming Trump is to blame for the
Actions have consequences, and it's important that
okay.
we realize that.
And he talked about the 51st state, which I think he's serious. But well, listen, it's over anyway because Trudeau said, "With that, if we got to do the tariffs, we don't exist." Okay, it's over then.
Am
Gee,
I
Grace
happy
Sweater,
with the
the
liberal?
proud Canadian, spot on again. It's all Trump's fault.
See, I think you have to remove the judgment and the sarcasm and just say, hey, whether it's good or not, whether it was justified or not, did Trump do something? Yes. And did it have a consequence in Canada that you and I don't agree with? Yes. And we can just say that that's the truth.
Well, listen, you got to give him credit then for bringing down China's economy then.
No one who said we didn't.
Xi Jinping, he's getting out of power because he fumbled the ball. He's Trump. Trump got rid of him.
Bring up Crappy's comment.
Morty Diner doxes divorce settlement. The judge has to decide which party gets the organizers, the flashlights, and the padlocks. Don't forget the folding knives. Don't forget the G-Shocks in the window. What about the bicycle? I don't want to give up my bicycle. It's stepped through, so I got accused of buying a girl's bike. But as a senior, I like it. It's not my Stingray bicycle that I used to have with the smaller wheels. That was very, very nimble. Tommy, major support to Crappy.
There you go. I'm voicing my public support.
On his comment or him in general?
Him in general.
All right,
And
there it
his
is.
comment.
Tommy, major support for Morty. He doesn't like being called Crappy anymore. It's Morty.
I know. I'm too used to it.
Or you can go with Mortimer. I prefer that one.
Mortimer is great. I love that term. I should go with that.
Yeah, Mortimer.
It makes me think of trading places.
It makes me think of a turtle. Mortimer the turtle. Okay, well, does Zeppy know what he's talking about here?
So does Zeppy know what he's talking about? Let's pull up the comment.
Remember how we got here. Hillary Clinton sent uranium to Iran.
I don't know about that.
Obama handed Iran 1.7 billion with a B dollars.
He did give
for
them money. Yeah.
And now they want to blame Trump. Nah, the disaster was made by the Democrats. Facts.
So I agree with one or two things there, and I think the rest of it is nonsense.
He agrees, but he doesn't say no strike. He shouldn't have done the strike.
No. I don't agree fully with those comments, but what I do say is you can't blame Trump for Iran having enrichment of uranium. I agree with that. I think you have to blame the foreign policy of numerous administrations, both Republican and Democrat. And then you have to say, well, wait a second. We've done all of these things, regime change, weapons of mass destruction, lies, invasions, and all of this stuff that has consequences.
How can you bring children into this world? Are you going to do that?
Because I think that at least right now, America is strong enough to where, luckily, I'm fortunate enough where I don't have to deal with a lot of those consequences of our own making.
You know what? I want to live to be 92. You know why?
Why not 93?
Because the total eclipse. Florida's going to have a total eclipse that year, I think.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah. All right.
I'd like to
That's
be able
legitimate.
to look at that. That would be interesting. Maybe I can see it from the window from the daycare center, or not daycare. What do they call it? The old folks' home.
The old folks home.
That'd be terrible. I mean, I would rather just go quick. If I can stay in the house as long as I can, and then once I lose mobility, or what do they call those places? Can't think of the right term. I guess it's a nursing home, but just to lay in bed, or just to be. I gotta move around. I have to move around.
Mm.
Oh, Morty, dying to know, what does that be? What kind of pillows does alleged billionaire have?
Buckwheat.
What does that mean?
It means he's not a billionaire.
Really? He's all hat, no cattle? Well, let me thank you again publicly for coming on the Docs Report.
Sure. I had a good time.
You had a good time? Okay. Thank you. Brought a lot of people over with you. It'd be interesting to see how many views I get. To me, I'm not. Somebody said something about I only had 9 watching, but it's really the views I rather like to see. So what I'll do when the show ends, I'll put in a timestamp. This is where Tommy comes in. Forget the opening. Morty, you're going to stream today. Let's plug your show, Morty. Or
Go
actually,
live, Mortimer. We'll link.
or Morty did stream last night. So early
I know,
morning.
but it was too late,
Yeah.
and I was on.
Uh-oh. Mortimer, on the day that when Docs moves into the afterlife, the Gophers of Florida will be rejoicing.
Well, that's just true.
I haven't seen one. The word must got out through the Gopher communication.
You eradicated them effectively.
This guy has zero tolerance. You don't know. They're gone. Thank goodness. Vanity appears. I contemplated whether to invite Bear on or not at some point, but I don't know if I should do that.
Do you like Bear?
Bear Clooney watches. Well, I think I understand him.
Mm.
He's when he offers friendship, it's all the way, everything. So whatever he did or didn't do, it's out of support for the 9-year-old. For whatever reason, he adopted the 9-year-old. And so he does it for him. But it's like, man, why?
I like Bear.
You're judging again.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I was told I was judgmental. You can't be so judgmental.
Well, you practice bad judgment.
I have poor judgment. All right, Tommy, I think I'm going to wind it up.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to go out and would you like to talk to me afterwards? Is there anything on your
Sure.
mind?
I don't care.
Okay. So let's go out on some Bach. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Docs Report. And let me put you backstage. How do I do that? Like that. All right, Docs Report. Thank you. Let me thank everyone. Put up some graphics. And if you'd like to appear on the Docs Report show, it's Docs Report. This is for Zeppy. The Docs Report at fastmail.com. Thank you. And also for Mike the Snake. Thank you all. And thank you for watching.